Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today.
Fade in.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark. It is dark in most places. Unless you're like, where would it be light right now? Japan? China? Australia?
The sun.
Maybe? It would be light on the sun, that's for sure.
True.
Good evening, folks. We have with us a rare treat tonight. We have Mexican Iron Man with us. The only man who has a theme song.
Greatest YouTuber of all time.
That's right.
We need to do a shorter version. Oh, look, he's got the hat and everything ready. He just had it to pull out.
See flying through that window. He's the pride of Mexico. No lady can resist.
Look, I'm riding my horse gate.
Of his kiss, the woo of his tongue.
Arriba!
No man can resist the might of his fist. When he starts, you'll be done.
Yeah!
You always got to at least play one chorus.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Mexican Iron Man. He's made from aluminum cans. He's flying through the air. Whoa, catch him if you can.
That's right. Mikey is here today. We ain't got another minute and a half to listen to that. I like the green in your hat, though. That's awesome.
I think I'm dizzy.
Well, you were chair spinning for a minute
Hold on, I
there.
think
If you're that dizzy after just that little bit of chair spinning, I think you need to get your shit checked out.
yeah. Hi, everybody in chat.
Did he even do a full revolution?
I'm just
I mean,
gonna sit here right now for a minute.
It's from hitting his head, jumping out of all those windows.
Hey, hey, I heard that.
Okay, good.
residual.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Well, we also have with us Six, who's in a Christmas
You
spirit
just give me
already.
more and more hours now after November 16th tax day. Speaking of which, we're gonna do your taxes next week.
Yes, we got to do taxes. You said that like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know.
5 weeks
Now-
ago.
now we
6
do
weeks
that.
ago. Why does it look like you have a penis decorated with Christmas lights on your picture, Six?
No.
What? Did you
Yeah,
just
now
say a
there's that.
penis?
Oh,
Now
it's
that
a
you mention
metal
it.
thing.
Did you take a
yeah.
picture of me? Did you take a picture of me when I was asleep last night?
Okay, I'm feeling a lot of negative energy from you, and I don't like it. That's actually a quote from a little movie I saw today.
Oh,
movie was that?
Lord. I wonder.
I can't.
Oh, I know
talk
what
about
movie
it.
that
Well,
is.
independent.
Oh, you guys are going to talk about it in just a minute.
He's gonna
Thank
make
you for
it.
being here, Six,
Thank you for having me.
and lighting up
Oh.
the stream with your
Yeah,
Metal.
I love Christmas. I'm ready.
metal Christmas thing.
Yeah.
What is that?
And buy myself. It's one of the. It's a tomato cage wrapped in Christmas light.
Oh, okay.
I
thought it was
can't
a
unsee the
penis.
Christmas light dick now.
From here, like in the background,
for
it looks like a
fuck's
penis.
sake.
But it's festive.
You guys
Yeah.
are giving me ideas for what to do around the holidays.
Oh shit! Do
Wow.
they make light up condoms, Mike?
No, I
I
gotta.
don't know, but
delete
we'll
it.
find. Let's go online. Let's look.
Now she's a vampire.
Well,
That
I
looks
have
like
to
me.
be somebody while I replace this picture. And yours is. I picked yours.
Well, while she's picking a picture, we also have Clobbering Times. How you doing, Captain Clobber?
Hey, buddy. Good to see you, and good to see you all, my dear friends on the chat and friends out there, well, and the dear friends on the panel, I should say, and dear friends in the chat. Good to see you all. Let's have a great Clobbering Tom and Midnight's Edging, Sixing, Mexican Iron Man is a real YouTuber karaoke time tonight.
Nope.
Yeah, we have CC karaoke with us. I don't know if we're gonna be doing karaoke tonight,
No.
are we?
Oh, eventually
Figure-
we always do.
Just a
karaoke.
figure of speech.
It's only a matter of time.
Start spreading the news.
Got
could
Mexican
say-
Iron Man here. Probably one of the best karaoke singers there ever was.
Probably.
Yeah, I hear that.
Who is that?
I've only done it twice, and I'm awful.
I've heard you sing.
That's what
Mikey.
you say, but we know the truth.
I think Mikey knows more about Donna Summer than anybody I know.
Oh, I do. I know all her songs.
See,
Oh.
look at that.
Oh.
MacArthur Park.
Is melting in the dark.
There's no faster way to get in the window before
we
you
know
have
what
to jump
Mikey-
out the window.
Oh shit! So we know what
Good
Mikey
song.
listens to when he's working out. I was gonna say, but I guess actually jumping out the window is what you're saying.
Thomas Connors, you stop encouraging them right now. You stop that right now. Right now. Right now. Right now.
Are you looking for some hot stuff?
I actually am. I'm seeing about lighted penile attachments right now.
You probably really are.
I am. You want me to share the screen?
No,
Do it.
I don't need to get pulled down.
Oh yeah, that'd be. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Okay. I'm producing the show live.
It's the last dance. It'd be the last
Oh
show.
yeah, you don't even have
The
to go
last
through
show.
Tom to share it, do you?
The last show.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were that big of a fan until one night you were talking about her. I'm
Oh
like,
my God, I know every
holy
word.
shit! You know so much about Donna Summer.
I know every word of every song Donna Summer ever put out, including the 12-inch remix editions.
Well, I have an extra copy of Thank God It's Friday, so whenever we do meet up, I got an extra record album of that, which has
That
that
is-
really long
He probably
version of
already
Last
has it.
Dance on it. He probably does.
Ooh.
I
And it's
love
on
the
vinyl.
long version.
Yeah, it's on vinyl.
I would love you forever.
Actually, I have a couple copies, so yeah, I should have at least more than one. It's one of those soundtracks that it was very popular, so when I would buy soundtrack lots on eBay, it's
Yep.
one that I would get a couple copies of once in a while. And I always had this luck with, and it's never failed. I had like 2 times now it happened to me where I'd get Fast Times in Ridgemont High, and it's a
Ew.
double album. But for some reason, people only send me the second part of the album. So I have 2 copies of the second half of the album, not the first half.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, because it's split over 2 records. The original album was because there's so many pop songs on it. You know that, Fast Times, don't you?
Hell
guys?
yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, Billy Squire and
Yep.
all that shit on there. Yeah.
A classic.
All right. Anyway, we also have CC. Did we introduce him properly? I don't know about that, but we were talking about music,
Yeah,
so it's
pretty
kind of
much.
the same thing.
I do music. Hello,
Oh.
glad to be here.
You do music.
He has an awesome
Yeah.
voice.
What does music do you?
Frequently, actually.
Ooh, whoa. So welcome everybody to the panel. I did not go see the goddamn Marvels. I refuse.
No.
I'm not going to see any MCU shit.
Oh.
I'm done with the MCU.
Then you don't
Oh.
get to talk about whether it's good or not.
I don't care. So you and Clobby have seen it though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yellow Flash is trying to force me to see it, and I'm said I'm not going to take this abuse.
Is he going to see it? Or did he already see it?
I think he already saw it. Andre will probably see it anyway, so I don't have to.
There you
I
go.
think you should see it though.
Why? Oh my god, the first one was such a fucking horrid experience in the theater.
I got 2 free passes for my local theater. I was gonna use them at 4 o'clock today, but I didn't have time. Should I use them over the weekend?
You should.
To see a different movie, yes.
I mean, I'm not gonna be stupid enough to take a date to see this movie, but
Why would you do that? Oh my
I think
god!
you should take a date.
No, that'd be
You'll
a
never get
buzz,
laid,
that'd be a buzz kill.
right?
I don't know.
Would it get you in the mood? You saw the movie.
Yeah, but I'm different.
You
I'm not-
You get in the mood anyway.
Well, you know what's funny is, I have my frequent places that I go sometimes, for like lunch and whatnot and get lunch. And so people are starting to get to know me. And eventually a lot of them ask what I do for a living.
Vicky's whorehouse for lunch.
Yeah. And I tell them, I'm a big whore. But today, of course, I go in to get my lunch, and the lady it's actually like a restaurant bar thing. Mm-hmm. And she's there and she's like, "Oh, I saw there was some Marvel thing coming out today," knowing, what I do for work. And I said, "Oh, yeah." She's like, "Or did I hear it wrong or see it wrong? I thought there was something Marvel, but usually me and my son go to everything, but he didn't seem to say anything about this one." I said, "Yeah, this one is not what I'm interested in either." She's like, "Well, what is it?" I said, "It's the Marvels." She's like, "Yeah, I couldn't figure out what it was. It was like Marvel what?"
Like, I thought it was a brand of ice cream.
No, she's like, she knows the Marvel brand, but she's like, I couldn't tell what movie it was. She's like, it just said Marvel and they didn't say the title. I'm like, yeah, that's the title. It's the Marvels. She's like, so they're just calling it the Marvels? I'm like, yeah. She's like, that's stupid.
Well, now that I think about it, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
And I said, this is actually so this, she goes, but this one has the 3 girls in it, right? I said, yeah, it's a sequel to Captain Marvel and WandaVision and Miss Marvel and all that shit. And she's like, "Oh, I didn't watch those." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Nobody did." So it was kind of funny that this just happened to just spark out of nowhere. It was just like, yeah, thanks for reminding me of the movie I'm not going to see today. But 2 people who did were Klobby and Six. So I'm going to give them the floor for about 10 minutes here or whatever, where I'm going to walk away. Like, just walk away.
Just walk away. All right.
In 10 minutes, I'll be back, and you guys be done talking about the fucking Marvels.
Okay. All right.
Go for
Bobby, you
it,
go
Six.
first.
No, you go first. You sure?
Yeah, go ahead. We each get 5 minutes.
But you can go first. I don't care. Ladies
All right,
first.
I'll
Wow,
go
you're
first.
really turning the Canadian up in here right now.
The first thing that stuck out to me was the special effects. Okay. So in this movie, there's some pretty bad special effects, but then there's some horrifically, disgustingly terrible special effects. And that's really the only 2 categories that there are. The opening scene, it's some chick on a planet, Danber, I don't know her name. And it's so obviously on a film set, in the, what do you call that? What is it? The volume? Is that what that's called? The scene, it's like they didn't have enough money to dress the set. It's just a very poor representation of what I imagine another planet to be. But so that was the first thing I noticed. And also the opening shot is of a spaceship going by. And I'm listening to that and I'm thinking, did y'all just rip off Star Wars? Because it sounded like a mixture of some ships from what was the last Disney Star Wars movie? Revenge of the Skywalker? What was it called?
The Ruse of Skywalker.
Yeah. It sounded like something from that mixed with something from the Phantom Menace. And I love the Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they just completely ripped off those movies. The storyline, I couldn't follow it because I haven't watched, the last 17 Marvel TV shows, and, some of the movies I've probably seen once. I did love WandaVision, so some of the stuff that was related to that was kind of interesting. I liked Monica Rambeau. I really liked her in the WandaVision TV show. I don't like Brie Larson. She's just a block of wood. She doesn't emote. You don't have any kind of empathy for her. I didn't want anybody to talk to her because I didn't want to hear anything that she has to say. There's no consistency in her powers, because I thought that she was like some mega powerful being, and then in this movie she's suddenly getting beaten up by this woman, this villain who
Yep.
has
Yep.
a bracelet on, one bracelet on, and then suddenly at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, the villain has both bracelets on, and all of a sudden, because Captain Marvel has decided, okay, this is our last chance, we have to do it, then she finally destroys her. And they don't even really show her destroying her very well. That fight was just not, it was very non-Marvel-y. I'm a big fan of Marvel movies. Like in general, when somebody talks about Marvel, I love the Marvel movies. This movie was made for, and I'm hesitating to say this because of what Mikey was saying about a date. This movie was made for preteen girls. There's so much chick emotion involved in the movie, and so much screen time of these women interacting with each other, and God, that's fucking boring. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be, movies made for women to, develop the relationships and that kind of stuff, but it doesn't belong in Marvel. It does not belong up on the screen. And there was this kid, well, he was like probably early 20s, came in to watch the movie, and he's sitting by himself. And as the movie's going on, he's just like sinking deeper and deeper in his seat. And like, as soon as that movie ended, boy, he was out of there. And I thought, this poor kid, he probably is a big Marvel fan. And here he's watching this chick flick. And I don't know, I think my 5 minutes are up. It was so bad. And then the black, what did Fury say? Nick Fury, he's
Black
trying
Girl
to,
Magic.
yeah, Black Girl
Yeah.
Magic. There was a few lines, but seriously, that line that I said, what was that line? I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. About I'm feeling a lot of negative energy from you and I don't like it. That's a line that Captain Marvel says to Nick Fury. And I was like, God, you're such a, do you need a safe space to go? It just, it wasn't. And I walked out of Black Panther 2 because it was so bad. I can't remember the scene, something with Namor. He said something about, I don't know what, but that was the scene where I was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And this movie was just boring. And I didn't understand what was going on. And they didn't have any fucking curly fries. So I'm sitting there. I got a bottle of water. A bottle of water. Maybe that's why I thought the movie was so terrible. Because I didn't get my curly fries.
Oh,
and
man.
the girl at the cash register who sold me the $5.50 $5.50 bottle of water.
Jesus.
I said, have you seen the movie yet? And she said, no, I haven't seen it. And I said, well, you guys don't do midnight showings for the employees? Because I used to work in a movie theater. We would do that all the time. And she said, no, we have those sometimes, but there wasn't enough interest in this movie, so we didn't do it.
Whoa! No!
Yeah, so they didn't even, and this girl, she was probably like 22 or something like that. Yeah.
Holy shit.
So I it was consistent. That's probably a good thing about it, is that it's a consistent, it doesn't get your hopes up. You don't watch the movie and think, oh, this isn't, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be as bad as everybody says. And no, it's just bad from start to finish. It's bad. It's boring. It's like a made for TV, like an ABC Friday night made for TV movie.
Water might have been the wrong choice of beverage.
So you liked it?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. I wanted to, though. I go into every movie wanting to like it. I love fighting with Tom.
Yeah.
When he hates something and I love it. I love that. But nope. Plus, Tom's not going to see it. So anyway, that's my 6 minutes.
Nope.
Oh, I went 7 minutes.
You can put all the kitties in the world and I still wouldn't go.
God, the kitties.
Oh, God.
The amount of kittens in this movie. And I didn't love this movie. Well, there were CGI kittens. I think
I was going to say, how real were they, though? That was the question.
Yeah, there was the orange kitty. What's his name? Goose. He was played by a real kitty. And then I think there was one shot of a kitten that looked real. But then there's like kittens running all over the place. And my God, I love cats. I don't mind being a crazy cat lady. But the fact that even the kittens couldn't turn this movie around for me, That says a lot.
I didn't know Ezra Miller was in this movie.
He was kind of cool. He was a cool. That's Mr. Captain Marvel. That's
Yeah, her husband.
Captain Marvel's husband.
Weird. Of
Sorry,
course, she's got a
spoilers.
non-binary they them thing as a husband.
Weird.
We,
I
He
thought
was
this was a
kinda- I
chick
kinda
when I
liked him.
first saw it in the trailer.
so did I. In the
He's
theater,
very
I thought
I
pretty.
thought it was Lady Loki. Yeah, I didn't know.
Weird.
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 Yeah.
Weird.
Okay. Go ahead, Clabby.
Go ahead, Clobby.
Well, there's a good friend of mine who I jokingly say he dragged me to this because we go to see all the Marvel movies together, and he's kind of in a bad way, and he can't really go by himself. So no matter how bad one of them is, we go, and he's very forgiving. He's not like me who tears these things to pieces. He's always, no matter what happened, what got going, except Wakanda Forever, he hated that one. But usually he's like, it wasn't that. We always get in this argument on the way back. It wasn't that bad. He said, "Are you sure that was the shortest running time of any Marvel movie that they said?" Because it felt like the longest.
Oh,
That sums up, and this is a friend of mine who, again, is far more kind than I am. This is a terrible, terrible film, as Six says. It starts out, I guess you go in hearing all the bad stuff, so you expect it to be right away just atrocious, but it really starts out, like she said, it's mostly boring. It's more boring. I think it's more boring than bad. The good news about the effects for me is I have crappy eyesight, so I can't really sometimes tell you a good effect from a bad one these days, it seems like. So that's because I don't care about this movie. Dar-Benn, who has, of course, been sex changed, is a villain who's a garbage villain. First of all, any superhero movie that you start out with a lousy villain, you're going to have a lousy movie. She's lifeless. She has no character whatsoever. He again is a lousy villain that no one ever even cared about. They had to drag him out of nowhere. For a nothing Marvel villain, so they couldn't even find a good villain for the Marvels to go up against. She finds one of the nega bands, and I'm not going to go into what those are because it takes too long. But the other one, of course, belongs to Kamala Khan. She had one mailed to her in that TV series, the only of the Disney Plus Marvel shows that I didn't subject myself to. Some people like it. I'm not knocking. I didn't watch it, but she has the other one. Okay, and she uses it to be Miss Marvel. So Dar-Benn finds it. She's a Kree. She doesn't look like a Kree, but she is a Kree. She's got one of Ronan's accuser sticks. So she basically it gives her the power to start screwing up these jump gates. And again, that's why the first quarter of the film is just a silly comedy about them changing places, the three of them, because of her screwing with the jump gates. And every time they would use their power simultaneously, either Monica, Carol, or Kamala, they would switch places with each other. And they tried to make that, and I'll give them that much credit, they tried to make it, a lot of fast moving action so you wouldn't really pay attention to the mostly non-existent plot. But like Six was saying, the inconsistent use of superpowers in anything always aggravates the crap out of me. On the one hand, Carol, if you saw the horrible Captain Marvel movie that she made, she wipes out Ronan's entire fleet by flying through spaceships and annihilating them. But she can't can't slug it out with one a dumbass bitch with one nega band.
Mhm.
Okay. Again, by the way, she's a very bland villain. There's nothing interesting about her, as I've already said that. So they're very inconsistent with the use of their powers. In fact, at one point, she takes on all three of them. And yet later, it's nothing for Carol to go fly into a sun and reignite it. Later, of course. So the three of them, there's a big chunk of the film that is that tries to be about the interaction between the three characters, which in principle wouldn't be so bad, except it's just not well done. It's not interesting. And I'm not even sure I'm laying it on the actresses or the actors, if you want to call them that. I'm really kind of saying it's poorly written. Nick Fury is embarrassing all the way through it, as he has been in this Marvel MCU for a while. Nothing against cats or anything, Six, but these Flerkens, I hate them. I hated him since Captain Marvel. When I just hate everything about the Flerken idea and the idiocy of the rescuing all the people on the Sword Station, the Saber Station, rather. Excuse me, that's Saber. By using the Flerkens was, like you said, it was like a movie for teenage girls. Every bit about it. No compelling villain. Not particularly interesting action. Some super cringe moments. Maybe not as many as I thought there would be, but there's still quite a few of them, especially on the Planet of Singing. The
Oh
planet-
my God.
Oh, good
Oh,
Lord.
Klobby, that was so bad.
Yes.
This planet, the only way that they can communicate and understand other people is if they're singing.
Singing.
I kind of figured
there's
that when you said that.
There's this dance
Oh,
number, and then Bree is singing, and I don't even know if that's really Bree singing. Oh,
I think it probably was. I
I'm
don't
having
know.
to relive it. Ugh.
But then they backtrack on their own. Her husband, by convenience, that guy that you showed earlier. He's bilingual, so he gets. In other words, they don't have to have him singing his crap, which I get.
Yeah,
After-
he's bilingual.
Yeah, which I guess is merciful to the audience that you didn't have to hear him anymore singing at that point. It's just bland. It's boring. It feels way longer than it is. And it's not, there's no real story to it. You don't give a crap about any of these characters. Or maybe some people do. Maybe little girls would watch it and get some. And, you can see the little girl that plays Kamala Khan. You can see a certain excitement in her liking the actress, trying to, playing the character. But Brie is
Her
just,
character is like a 7-year-old.
yeah, she's just a little
The way
kid.
she's simping over Captain Marvel. Come
Oh,
on.
Oh God. And the family's annoying, of course. Everything. Like I said, it's difficult for me to even hate this. I don't hate it as much as I hate Wakanda Forever or Eternals or a couple of other ones. Because for me to get really angry, they gotta piss me off. The movie never really pissed me off. It just was dumb and bad and just boring. And I'm glad I'll never see it again.
I think we knew what we were going to get. I don't feel like they really hid anything via the trailers.
Right.
Like, we kind of knew what we were getting into when we went to see it.
But I was prepared to give it a decent chance. Like, in other words, if there was anything really nice to say about it, I was prepared to eat the crow and say that and go, I got to admit this was okay or that was okay. The first 20 or so minutes when it's going on, I'm not really aggravated. I'm just like, okay, well, what are you going to do from here? Then it just goes into a nosedive. I'm like, wow, I now see why people are saying how bad this is.
Yeah.
And I tried to keep an open mind as much as I could. Because you're going to get the accusation. Well, you just went in there wanting to hate it. I didn't go in there wanting to hate it. I just wanted it to be over quick, to be honest. But if I've gone into movies thinking I was going to hate them and end up liking them, but not this case. So
yeah,
it's pretty much all I have. It's in my opinion, like Six, you summed it up beautifully. Everything you said, and then when you said it's for little kids or for young girls or something like that, I guess it may appeal to them and the Marvel simps out there, the Marvel stands, but. It is.
Does it though?
I
would
don't
it
know.
Even appeal to them?
I don't know. I'm just saying maybe.
The critics have hated it, which made me think I was going to love it.
Yeah.
Because usually if the critics are praising something, I'm like, well, fuck this shit up. But I don't know. I really wanted to. I'm an optimist, I guess.
There's no story. And Six, the thing is, the story's not really clear. There's nothing really to grab onto. It's a very thin story. And it's got a lot of the cringy emotional moments between the characters. It's just like, oh God, it felt really long. But anyway, and I hate the Flerkens. I've mentioned how much I hate Flerkens. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I love cats, but I love all animals, but I don't love the Flerkens.
Indeed. I'm done, Tom. Sorry.
Sorry, we went 5 minutes over.
Yeah.
That's
we just had to get it out. It's therapeutic for us. So thank you so much.
That's all right.
Thank you to everyone who's listening.
All right.
Yes,
No, that's fine. Oh, we have Script Doctor with us as well. Hey, Script.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, we're
Script,
just
did you see
finishing
the
up
Marvels?
Yeah,
I'm not talking about it anymore.
I got a screener of it last night. I saw it with a friend of mine who worked a little bit on the film in post-production, and we both had a nice laugh.
Okay. Yeah, and Script hates cats too, so.
Do you?
He probably extra.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
I'm not a fan of cats. I mean, they look nice, but when one's living with you, you're actually the slave in that relationship.
I'm allergic myself. I can't be near him. So
yeah. And I don't trust single men that have a lot of cats as much as I don't trust single ladies that have a lot of cats. I think there's something weird there.
I only have
one, and he's a dick.
I only have 17 who live outside.
Wow.
Oh, there you go.
Well, at least that's responsible.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
Well, the blaming has begun already.
Letterboxd comment just made me so mad. And
Letterboxd.
instead of replying to this really
That's
dumb
pretty much what
person, I'm
Letterboxd
just gonna
is.
make a video
Oh,
about it
Letterboxd.
and rant for a second. I am so upset about all this bullshit surrounding the Marvels, where so many men just want this movie to fail. It's ridiculous. I wrote a very positive review about the movie on Letterboxd because I liked it, and somebody commented, "Sounds biased in my opinion." Liking something is biased. Do you go on every single movie in Letterboxd and see a positive review and call it biased? No. You know what would be biased? If I worked for Marvel or worked on this movie, or if I said before I saw the movie, I don't care how bad it is, Captain Marvel's in it, so I'm gonna love it. That's being biased. You know what's ironic? You're being biased because you haven't seen the film and you already hate it. That's lunatic behavior. I hated Quantumania. Do you think that brought me joy? Do you think I like hating that? No, it's a bummer hating things. I do not understand how you can go into something with such hate in this way. It is just sexism. You sexist.
Oh,
it's okay to be
God.
sexist.
Oh, well, that's where she
Of course.
lost everybody.
I get it. There are things in that
Yep.
movie that are not for everyone.
One guy's a
But
dick
if
and
you
you blame
really
everybody.
seriously want to hate it.
Oh
and
no, just bringing up the sexist part is alone.
Oh,
just
yeah.
deflates
Yeah,
the entire-
that's
'cause
where she
everything was
lost
saying
it.
around that was fine. It's like, okay, fine. Then she's like, you're sexist. No,
Yeah.
No.
that's
I'm
not it
biased
at all.
against the glasses. I see
Because
those
I'm somebody-
rims and I'm out.
Who's in
Even-
that category of I checked out of this shit a long time ago.
Sexist.
That's why I don't care. It has nothing to do with like Captain Marvel's the least of this movie's problem. My bigger
Bigot.
fact is I didn't watch half the shit I have to see to get to this.
Bigot.
I know I am.
Oh, they
Are
actually
rooting
do
for
a
it to fail.
recap
You
for
need
you,
to
so you
really
don't have
ask
to have
yourself
watched
why.
the
Yeah.
stuff to
Ask
understand it.
yourself why
Too
you have
bad
such
for
a
them. I
problem
don't
with
give a
women
shit.
And powerful women and
Powerful
women
women.
leading films and women directing films.
All the
I
talking
think
points.
when the
She
Marvel
couldn't get the
stuff
fuck out of there
I'm
fast
taking
enough, the
as a
director
This chick
couldn't.
is a lot more
I
woke
just
than the movie
can't
was, though.
take it.
Yeah, that's
Can't
true.
take
The
it.
movie didn't really have a lot of that kind of crap in it. It
The
was
movie
She
just,
was
can't take it.
almost absent of woke, and that's
Yeah.
one of the few positives you can say about it.
yeah.
The actors had a lot of energy, and the characterizations were a bit more digestible, but they were also very, very, very thin.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
statement.
it was
That's
a very
fair comment.
basic. I've got a review written. I might record it, put it into a video for Saturday. But yeah, it's. I don't know if you can fairly rate it as the worst movie out of the MCU, but it's definitely in the bottom with some other notable mentions
Yeah.
for sure.
And this chick, she couldn't just say I liked it and don't be a dick, and that's fine. She had to come up with all that other, all the
Yeah.
usual crap. That's ridiculous.
I just can't wait till this weekend's over so we're done fucking talking about it. I'm so sick of hearing about Brie Larson and the Marvels. I'm done. We got some super chats here, including a very generous one coming up here. Waltman sent us one early on and says Jezebel just did shut down today, so there's that to talk about too, which means the Marvels just lost the Defender. I heard that, but I hadn't got a chance to check into it.
What is Jezebel? What is that?
That's
That's
that one news outlet that
That's
we just
a
talked about
crazy
them. What
one.
was it? Yeah, what was the story we were covering from them not too long ago? I'm trying to remember.
Jezebel?
I don't know, but they're pretty crazy though.
Because Andre made the joke of it being a fitting name for the website, and I can't remember what story it was we were covering. Somebody
Yeah,
in the
just
chat
a-
might remember.
Something to do with horrors?
No, actually, it
No.
was funny, but like,
Oh, this is from CNN. Jezebel, the punchy feminist blog with an outsized influence on internet
Yeah.
culture, will suspend operations and lay off its staff immediately. Just
trying
as
to
Hollywood is
remember.
revving back up.
yeah,
She's a furry.
she's a furry. Oh, was that one of the ones? That might have been one of their articles where they went, or was that the Mary Sue that did the Robin Hood? No, there was one that we did not too long ago that had, and Andre, I remember we had him. It must have been on the morning show. So I remember him saying, "Oh, that's a fitting name for that website." I was trying to remember, was it the Barbie article there was something to do with, or something like that? Maybe there was a Barbie article, maybe, or something. I don't remember now. I don't give a fuck. It wasn't that big of a deal because Jezebel's about that worthless.
There's a billion
It
Barbie
is.
articles.
Yeah, they're just pretty much no hurt feelings here on that part.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Keto Simple in the chat. How you doing, buddy?
Hey.
You also became a member. What level? Let's see here.
Uh-oh, my bad.
Oh, I don't have the thing open. Shit. And of course, it won't go back far enough. Well, we'll just give you a video. How's that sound? Let's see here. We got Bored Corgi, or we got. Let's see. We can do minimum effort puppy.
Oh, wait, I got it. It's minimum effort puppy.
There you go.
There you
That's
go.
what I thought. There's your minimum effort puppy. Thank you. And we got Jason Webster says now showing Disney Wars VII. That's 5, 6, 7, 8. Return of Pearl Mutter.
It's long overdue because I mean I watched your video of the next chapter of the book, and it's like, yeah, Feige has a lot of problems, but you also have to put a little bit of the blame on Perlmutter, who's like, I'm going to sell to Disney, but I also want to retain control. It's like that never happens when you sell a company. Perlmutter
It
should be smart
never,
enough.
ever happens. It's this delusional thing that entrepreneurs get when they have what's called a major liquidity event.
Yeah. And then the irony is that the very story group that Marvel had in place to make sure their stuff was good was copied over to Disney. But again, it was built by someone that had their own agenda as opposed to one that Mike Perlmutter had, which was we just need to make sure the merchandise sells.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the
Doom.
thing where I can add the certain tab to the chat thing, but I don't know how to figure that one out. I'm not good at that.
Jason Webster for $5 says,
Yeah.
unfortunately, now showing the latest installment of the MCPU, the non-Marvel, starring Brie Cheese Larson at a theater near you.
Not for long.
Yeah, it's not gonna. I haven't even made a guess on what I
Well,
think
they have to keep it in theaters for as long as they can because they haven't much anything else coming out. So why
yeah.
pull it and cost them money when it comes to their deals with international theater companies when they could just keep it in theaters now for the rest of the year, maybe a little bit into January before they put it on streaming or Disney Plus.
Yeah, there was a whole whopping 6 of us at the theater I was at.
I cannot figure out.
Well,
how to
I saw it
change
through a
this.
portal, so I was at home on a Zoom call with my buddy, laughing and
comfortable.
watching this 98-minute incomplete, basic paint by numbers, thin film.
Yep. It's,
Yeah, I can't find how to change this shit.
Which I was
trying to
trying to
do?
do. There are some okay jokes in the movie. It's just
I
not
laughed a
good
couple
enough.
times.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a couple of things worthy of a laugh, like a genuine worthy of a laugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we got Truth, Hope, Love. Holy cow! Sends in a very generous $50.
Great, I
Thank
got
you so
something
much.
special for him. Ready?
You do.
50, 50, 50, 50, 50. They can't do that on Geeks and Gamers. Hold on, let's do it again. Let's hit the button.
What just happened?
50,
I don't
50, 50, 50. That's 50 in Spanish.
50.
Yeah.
What is sequenta? Is that 50?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
50 in Spanish.
See.
That is
Whenever I
very
speak
funny.
Spanish, my voice goes down to here. Don't know if you talked about this last stream. We did on the morning show. But Patton Oswalt was one of the schmucks who screeched over James, ABG, and Ralph's Ghostbusters 2016 no review, I refuse vid. People trolled Oswalt by saying he's mad because his wife cameoed as a ghost. Oh.
Ooh.
No, yeah, no, that we
That
talked
is-
a little bit about yesterday.
Wow.
It was trending that he was in the movie and not in a good way. And yeah, there was a lot of people bringing that kind of stuff up.
Yeah, that sucks. He's in it.
Yeah.
Well, people forget his wife was one of the writers as well on 2016.
So he might have
First
a
or
large
second wife?
role.
Unforgivable.
The one that is no longer with us, I believe.
First wife.
I believe, if I remember correctly. And then that was the other thing is as soon as she was, let's say, gone, he couldn't marry his, what was it, former assistant fast enough or whatever it was?
Wasn't a
Something
former
like that.
assistant. It was just a friend of a friend who they met.
Friend
on
of a friend?
Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was within weeks after she passed that they started a relationship.
Yeah, I couldn't get
And
it
then-
fast.
Then
Yeah, I
within
couldn't
a
get
year
together
they got
fast enough.
married.
That's kind of disgusting.
Suspect.
It's very suspect. I'll put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and not to get too deep into it, but
It's
yeah.
like a Columbo episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's just one more thing.
I hadn't watched the new Ghostbusters trailer until today in the theater.
Really?
Because I had some stuff going on yesterday, so
Yeah.
I was just super busy, and I wanted to enjoy the moment because I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan, and that was I think the first trailer that came up before the movie today, and it's the people on the beach, and they see something coming from the water, and I'm like, oh, is this a new Godzilla trailer? And then you see the spikes coming up, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Godzilla! It's his spikes, and then it's not. So I have to admit, I was actually a little disappointed in the trailer because I was thinking it was going to be like a badass Godzilla one, and I already knew about Patton Oswalt, so
And he was the worst part of that teaser trailer too.
yeah,
He was. Yeah, and when I heard his voice come in, I'm like, no, I knew he was in it. I forgot.
Like, everyone
and then
around the
just-
scene is funny, and then he says something, and it's like that's just obnoxious.
I know.
And then
Do
just
we know
seeing
how
a chick
much he's
wearing the
in-
pack. The
What was that, Six?
Ghostbusters- Just seeing a woman wearing the pack, the Ghostbusters pack uniform.
That didn't bother me.
Oh yeah,
That
Spengler's daughter
gave
and
me-
granddaughter are both wearing the
No, but
full
they're-
gear.
but they were kids in the first one, and so now to see it just kind of like took me back
A
to
little older. What I thought was cool is
Ghostbusters.
red jackets they got.
Yeah, they're like
For-
winter jackets.
Yeah, so clearly what those are is probably something Ray or somebody makes that they can handle the extreme sub-zero temperatures or whatever.
that was cool seeing him, Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, and Bill Murray gets a shot in the trailer, and of course Ernie Hudson and all that business. But yeah, you were going to say something, CC. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, do we know how much he's even in the movie? But
Patton Oswalt?
yeah,
I hope he's one of
It
the
l-
guys that gets frozen.
It looks.
Yeah,
Here's
well,
my
me
here's my
too.
opinion. It looks
the
like they're
number
setting
one.
him up. He'll probably end up being like the Ray character going forward. Is my
Patton
guess.
I have a dumb
Oh,
question.
yes.
What is
He
this?
looks more like a Lewis Tully type.
I know he looks that way, but if he's talking like Ray, if you listen to his dialogue, and he's all excited about the ghosts, and he's the one who knows all this stuff, right? Like
Mm.
that's. And I have a feeling when the older cast falls off, we're going to be stuck with Egon's daughter, Paul Rudd, the two kids, and him in the kind of the more Ray role.
I'm actually most concerned about the villain. I mean, it's the kind of villain when I watch the trailer, I'm thinking, okay, if you do this really, really well, it can be awesome. But if you don't pull it off, I mean, it's just like, okay, there's CGI ice coming up, and it's, you know,
I liked it, but-
it has to really be attached to the fear.
And I like
the
the
audience
idea-
has to buy it.
And I like the idea of like, you know, hell freezing over and hell being represented by New York or whatever, because that if they use that element, that's from an older script.
Yeah.
What I don't like about this, and I'm kind of worried, is I got vibes of Ghostbusters 2.
Yes, exactly.
That's where I'm kind of like, wait a minute here. We're kind of doing the same thing as Ghostbusters 2. I mean, even though it's
Ice instead of
frozen,
slime.
ice instead of slime, and are we going to have another bad guy who doesn't, you know, he just doesn't live up to Zool, even though, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of worried. I've got some worries, but I'm looking forward to it. It's one of the movies I'm looking forward to. I was glad to see Bill Murray in the trailer. That tells me he's probably in the movie a little bit more than the last one. So
Well, he
Yeah.
was also in the uniform too, so that tells
Yeah.
me some stuff. I think. Listen, one thing I could probably bank on is that if Bill Murray's back in that, and you have a brand new villain, it probably has to, under the stipulation for Bill Murray, is like, don't repeat the mistakes you made with Vigo, because again, Vigo premise wise cool, but they just didn't do enough with him. To
Yeah,
make him
Right.
really-
I loved Vigo.
Yes.
I just,
yeah, the problem with part
execution-wise.
2, is it had some elements like Vigo's a great bad guy, but the problem was just that, right? You have all this interconnected stuff with the slime, the city, too much kitty shit going on, the baby plot
The
on
idea of
top
being
of it
nice
all.
to defeat the bad guy. I mean, like it's very superficial. There should
Yeah.
have been something more like, what is really New York about? It's not about being cruel to other people. It's about persevering in the cruelty. That's the thing that they should have nailed, but they didn't nail it.
And I kind of like the idea of the mood slime, but then it's like goes
Yeah, I did
against,
too.
well,
Yeah.
you didn't ever establish that the other slime makes you like act the other direction, though. You know what I
No,
mean?
they
Like
do when they get out of the sewer.
No, I know in part 2.
Oh, you
but
mean the
like-
first one? Yeah.
Like previously, before that, they've never had it to where any slime has ever had any like emotional.
Except for
it's
Bill
just
Murray
a
saying, "I
minor
feel
thing.
So funky. Yeah, Bill Murray
Yeah.
says, "I feel so funky," and that's about as
funky.
much as you get.
Yeah, and it's not a big deal. It was just a little thing, and I did
Yeah.
not like that they changed the slime to pink. I was so pissed. I'm like, why is it slime pink? And I knew why it was pink, and we all know why it was pink. It was because the fucking store shelves were full of pink fucking slime called with Ghostbusters slapped all over it. Because Masters of the Universe already had the green slime, so they couldn't have the same color.
It couldn't do the same. Well, except for the chewing gums. Ghostbusters could do the green slime chewing gum.
Well, yeah, but I mean, and I know that's why they changed the color in the second film. I guarantee you that's why they changed the color. Same thing with why we know that's why they changed Slimer too. So he was more like the cartoon. Although he does have some of the best scenes. I will get, the line that probably still makes me laugh the most is, "Okay, but I didn't know you had your license." Still makes me laugh. Oh, it's you. Yeah. Anyway, let's get on here with some more super chats, and then we've got a little bit of news. Day Tripera says, "Did you hear about Zendaya playing Cleopatra in biopic directed by Villeneuve? This is getting ridiculous. Are you serious?"
Huh?
What?
Wow.
I believe
I
it.
mean-
I haven't read it.
Honestly, I'm probably going to go against the grain here and go, she's kind of light enough skin that she probably does fit with what Cleopatra should have looked like, probably.
Well,
I'm
except
not
for the
seeing it.
nose.
Except for the nose, yes.
I'm not seeing any credible
Yeah. I mean, if it's
news
true,
sites reporting it.
this is the one time I'm going to say, you know what? It might actually work, but she's a little scrawny. Like, I don't see her being like seen as a voluptuous, kind of attractive,
Yeah.
She's
but
flat
not that
as
the
a
real
board.
one ever really was. But the point was, But then again, you're also getting Gal Gadot as Cleopatra if that ever happens too. And I agree. with
She's
script that
aged
that's
out
not
right
the,
now. She's holding
Yeah,
on.
that's
to
not the
this.
best choice either.
Sandra
No, if
Hammer's
this
was
is true-
actually correct. Nina Infinity looks more like Cleopatra traditionally.
Yes. And I think we actually had that conversation way back when that Cleopatra thing came out. I remember saying that on Toxic Femme. I'm like, shit, if anything, she probably looked more like Uni.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, moving on though. If that's true, interesting. If not, nice joke, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's the problem with jokes like that now is you could be serious.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
anything can happen.
Joe Pat 87 says news got in today that Zaz just canceled the upcoming Coyote versus Acme movie, and it'll become a tax write-off. Discovery really has it out for LT. No, Looney Tunes, he means. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because that was one of our stories today. So if we want, we can just jump right into that here.
Sure. Yeah.
The John Cena. I don't know if you guys remember the announcement for this. This was a little while back. A little interest in it just because of the Coyote business. I am a Looney Tunes fan, but that was about
Is
as
the
far as I
premise
went.
that the Coyote sues Acme for defective product?
Probably not. Another Warner Brothers movie bites the dust. The studio no longer plans to release Coyote versus Acme, a live-action animation hybrid starring John Cena, which completed filming in 2022. A similar situation transpired a little over a year ago as Warner Brothers shocked the entertainment industry by shelving the $90 million budgeted DC adventure Batgirl, the kid-friendly Scoob holiday haunt, as tax write-offs. Those films, as well as the $30 million. Oh, so this was only $30 million. He should just release
This is
it.
another HBO Max exclusive,
Yeah.
Max exclusive thing. Then
Coyote
I
versus
like-
Acme. Go ahead.
I like the characters. If it's only $30 million, I mean, how bad was it?
I don't know.
and it was bad enough to basically say we better save this $30 million in a tax
I
write-off.
guess so.
Wow.
Because Mike, they won't even get that 30 million back, will they? They'll only get. I can't remember what the percentage is. You said before. It's kind of like.
Well, when
If
he
he's here.
comes back, he'll
Oh,
be
he's
able to
stepped
clarify
away.
that.
Okay,
Stepped
yeah,
away.
I remember like with the whole Batwoman thing, they weren't going to get that whole 90 million tax write-off. It
Oh
was
no,
only-
Batgirl. I think they could probably swing about 50%. Maybe
I was going to say, I think that's what Mikey was saying. It's like 50% or something like that. Yeah.
still better than nothing.
Well, yeah, after sunk cost, yeah. Well, the other part of this, and this is where we brought that up before, is like Gary Tunnicliffe on the main channel. We have an interview with him where he talks about working on The Exorcist 4, and he was talking about how they would do that was kind of common practice. A lot of times, they would basically say that the movie cost 30 million when it only may cost 15 million to make.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
in some
that.
cases, they do that in order to basically kind of mitigate how much the gross points they have to pay out to the people that have points on the gross. So if they say, "Oh yeah, we only spent 15, but we're reporting 30," so once we break that $30 million, threshold, that's when you start getting your gross points on the your gross points on that is when they start paying them out after they hit that point, because everything that happened up to that point they keep for themselves.
Yeah. And yes, Ben, there is 2 Exorcist 2s, but instead of spending 60 million on both of them, they actually only spent about 30 million for the 2. Is what Gary claims. But yeah, so going on here, it says the former regime, led by Jason Kilar, and it was intended for an HBO Max release. His successor, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav, has shifted the studio's priorities back to theatrical and felt the movie didn't fit with the new creative direction of the company. The decision also comes after Bill Damashki took over Warner Animation Group earlier this year. That might have more to do with it than anything. With the relaunch of Warner Brothers Pictures Animation in June, the studio has shifted its global strategy to focus on theatrical releases. The Warner Brothers Motion Picture Group spokesperson said in a statement, "With this new direction, we have made the difficult decision to move forward." Yeah, see, it sounds more like that's what it is. Move forward with Coyote versus Acme. We have tremendous respect for the filmmakers, cast, and crew, and are grateful for their contributions to the film. If I had to guess, then that means they probably have something else in line that they want to do that this clashes with, probably. If I wouldn't. Well, they also don't. They are actually. You know what? You know what they did? They just dropped that animation stuff for that new Looney Tunes movie. That's probably why they're going that direction instead. That's my guess. Now that I think about it, I just remember.
That's a pretty good guess. I can believe that.
Remember, like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, we just showed the test footage or whatever that dropped online.
Yeah, which was pretty good. I mean,
so that's probably the direction they're headed, and that's supposed to be a theatrical release. So that's probably the reason for this. Now, there's another Dave Green who's involved in stuff, not David Gordon Green, obviously, here. I'm assuming they're not the same person.
Derivative named people in Hollywood.
Yeah, he was the director of the Acme movie. Project was announced in 2020 and dated for 2023 before it was taken off the calendar and replaced by Barbie. So it was actually meant to go to theaters originally. Interesting.
Wait, the cartoon? Coyote?
That's what it sounds like here, because it took Barbie took its place.
Barbie wasn't on Max, unless they're talking about Max, because Barbie's been on Max for a few weeks.
Inspired by Looney Tunes Care, the project was announced in 2020 and dated on July 21st, 2023, before it was taken off the calendar entirely and replaced by Greta Gerwig's eventual blockbuster Barbie. And that's when Barbie came out. It was July. So it must have been.
It went to theater, then they have to. Then that would mean they have to pay back all that pre-sale stuff, which means.
I wonder if it wasn't one of those ones like Batgirl where they initially were going to do it for Max, and then they thought they were going to do it for theaters, and then they.
Yeah, but they pulled the plug before they made any deals for that.
Must have, yeah. I'm imagining. This David Green also worked on Out of the Shadows, yay, and he's beyond devastated by Warner Brothers' decision.
Oh, of course. I mean, he's right to be devastated. Yeah, it sucks.
3 years of his life, it sounds like here. So yeah,
he got his payment, but he's not getting any distribution points.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, and it says right here, new management at Warner Brothers Animation is focused developing movies for the big screen, and starting in 2026, intends to release 2 animated films in theaters a year. So they're going head to head with Disney.
Yeah. Hey, 2 a year is not bad. You bookend your cinematic year.
Oh, they bought into Dr. Seuss. We got a Cat in the Hat animated film and Oh, the Places You Will Go coming.
Ooh, cool.
Unless, of course, Warner's needs another last-minute tax write-off. Nice zinger there. From Trinity, Everett. No, who is this? Oh, Rebecca Rubin. Okay. Like looking for the name of who did it. Yeah, nice little dig there at the end. Okay, so Coyote movie's not coming. But I think the reason for that, as I said, is because they got other plans for the Looney Tunes. Probably.
Wow.
There you go. That was that. Anything to say on that, guys?
Nothing other. Meep. Wile E. Coyote, super genius. Will not be show in theaters. There you go. What a shame.
Super genius.
I'm just waiting for the Magic 8-Ball movie.
Yes.
They did announce that.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And Uno.
What about the Rubik's Cube film? Is that going to be?
I think then there'll be a crossover between the two.
That'd be a hell of a horror film.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the horror version of
60
it is
seconds to solve the Rubik's Cube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, well, the instructions tell you how to do it. That's the irony.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things getting moved, before we get back into super chats here, let's just cover this real quick, because there is a story that goes with it that we just got in the background here. I believe Six just shared. Marvel's Deadpool 3 to move to July 2024. No surprise there. And Captain America: Brave New World is getting pushed all the way to 2025, which is funny because I thought it was almost done shooting.
Reshoot.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because Six just shared this in the background here. Discussing film.
Sharing is caring.
That apparently, that's right.
Yes.
Apparently, it's getting extensive reshoots after negative test scores. 3 major sequences will be cut, with reshoots apparently happening from January to May. There you go, guys. So
no Captain America in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's seems like it looks like we're gonna get one heck of a gap with the Marvel films while they
Good.
figure out a way to correct their course.
Wasn't that supposed
Honestly,
to be the
if
next
I was
one?
them,
No, go ahead.
Thunderbolts actually.
I thought that was
I
a
think
TV
Thunderbolts
show.
is next.
Wasn't it a TV show or no?
Yes. Supposedly it's Disney series.
Oh, is that a TV show? I thought it was a movie.
No, I thought it was a TV show. Maybe
You might be right.
So what? The next movie I thought was Captain America, Brave New World.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which
what?
I guess has been knocked back a year.
Yeah.
So I think we're only getting Deadpool 3 this 2024, right? Marvel wise.
A year from now.
2024, yeah, and the Thunderbolts, but I'm trying to see if it's a movie or a show.
I heard it was a show. I could be wrong. Either way, they're not going to get it right, of course.
It doesn't say here. It says Walt Disney Motion Pictures. So I'm thinking it's a movie. That's what I thought. It was a movie.
Oh, could be.
Looks like a movie to me.
Okay.
So that would be the next one then. So I knew that one's done.
It is done. You're saying it's
well,
done.
according to some people, they've said that it's not quite done, but
okay.
I thought it was pretty much done before. Because they already talked to like Harrison Ford about it and stuff. And wasn't that where they asked him about the Red Hulk? And he's like, what the hell is a Red Hulk?
I think that's the Captain America movie, isn't it? Or is he in Thunderbolts also?
No, he's in Thunderbolts as well. He's Thunderbolt Ross now.
No, he's Thunderbolt Ross, but that has nothing to do
Yeah.
with Thunderbolts comic.
Well, he's in it now. Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay, I thought it was like the Thunderbolts comic. It is. I know it is that, but maybe they're putting him in there.
He's second on the list here. Florence Pugh's one.
Oh, boy.
That's what you got. Florence Pugh, Harrison Ford, Taskmaster, Red Guardian, Bucky.
What about
U.S. Agent?
Ooh, he's got a lot of TV writers working on.
Oh boy, what about Baron
movies.
Zemo?
Zemo? No, I don't see him.
Not in the Thunder Agents movie? How could you? Oh my god.
Well, he's a good villain, but like I don't know.
No,
even know
he's a
what-
member of the Thunder Agents. He's in the comic. I'm thinking stupid.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
thinking
sorry.
The comic books. Yeah, Thunder Agents. Listen to me. They're not Thunder Agents to do good for Thunderbolts, but Thunderbolts. He started the.
Yeah, it's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie, but sadly, a lot of the people that are creatively working on it,
Yeah,
are
Like-
television and video game writers, not screenwriters.
Like, what about Citizen V? Like Neil said, because that is Zemo. But
what is it?
there's Citizen Z in it.
There's a very limited list.
The guy
here,
that played
yes.
Zemo in the Civil War and the Bucky
him.
Falcon show.
Yeah, I'm not seeing him here, but
Not
he might.
seeing him. This is the guy that wrote Black Widow. One of them, Eric Pearson. Apparently, he also wrote Black Widow, Godzilla vs. Kong, Thor Ragnarok, and he did a
Right.
couple of television stuff and one shots. So yeah, there's a lot of green writers.
Chapek's
Wow.
son is one of the executives on it. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. I knew this. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure this one was done shooting, but then that leads into the Captain America one. Last I knew, if I remember right, because that was supposed to be the other one out. But yeah, that's getting moved evidently. So the
And
Thunderbutts.
the director is also the director of Skeleton Crew as well, the Star Wars.
Oh.
Jake Schreier.
Oh,
Yeah, they do not have a good team behind them on this movie.
that's a
Let's get
show I
back-
wish would be good.
Let's
I
get back
really
to
wish
these
it would
super
be.
chats here. Jason Webster says with $10, thank you from Australia. In his review of the Marvels, Dan Murrell said the film had inconsistency in tone and jokes, and that don't land, and recommend the film is a stay away. Well, that's because of all the reshoots, probably. Could you guys
All the
tell that it was?
reshoots. You
Yeah.
can definitely tell when it's reshot because the actress who played Proton was pregnant, and anytime she's wearing a puffy shirt and a wide shot, that's a reshoot. And they
Yeah.
change clothes like 3 times while they're on board the same spaceship in the same window of time for reasons. It's like because they came back, they needed to hide a baby bump. They threw a big flannel shirt over her and then walked around a table doing exposition for 10 minutes. They didn't reshoot any of the action sequences. You can tell that because they're way better refined than you'd expect, but still rough. And a lot of the medium shots, where it's the shoulder and face, those are probably all the original things because they reshot this weeks before the SAG-AFTRA strike began, and they could not have come back until today to reshoot this.
Oh yeah, we knew all these reshoots happened a while ago.
Yeah, so this is a movie completely recut in post over the last few months just to try and get it in the shape it is, which is still incomplete. A lot of plot points are discarded. It's a plot-driven movie. Characters are thin. The premise is actually fine. In fact, a lot of the premises that were used in other Marvel movies that sucked were perfectly serviceable. Just the execution was absolutely without any authorship and nothing inventive to make people actually like and care about these characters. But they have better characterizations. Brie Larson does not play smuggish, snarky, or obnoxious in this. Proton, she's fine. Kamala Khan, that actor brings a lot of energy to the role, and you can tell she's having a lot of fun, and she's not horrible to watch. But there's just so much stuff in there that just doesn't need to be there, and why they kept it instead of looking at something else piques my curiosity.
Well, we have another person joining us, Mr. Valiant Renegade. How are you doing?
Good evening. Trying to recover still. Been sick the last 2 days. Man, I'm glad I stayed home today because I was just wrecked. But it's funny. They're still reshooting the Marvels, as I understand it, even today.
That's my joke for Star Wars.
God, good Lord.
Yeah, no, it's true. They were still reshooting it when we were watching it today.
Yeah, I was watching it. Wow.
Heard a couple cut.
Yep.
Reset.
Yeah. Well, you actually went to see this crap too, Valiant?
I watched it.
Not went.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't went anywhere.
I watched it. I watched it.
That's another thing, guys.
Look,
I don't care about that part, whatever. But if we want this shit to end, we got to quit going to see this shit, even if it's just for whatever fucking reason.
That's why I saw a screener through a portal. I didn't pay for it.
I wanted to see it. I do admit I probably didn't have to buy a child seat for my purse.
I did that for Godzilla.
I need that buffer.
But that screening's filling the fuck up compared to the Marvels.
There were
Holy shit.
There were 6 old people when I went today.
How bad was your theater? 6?
There was like 12 total.
Wow.
So that was pretty full then.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of full.
Jam-packed.
But here's what tells you the interest in that compared to something like Godzilla. The other day I went to buy my Godzilla tickets. That theater's already filling up. There's only 2 showings.
Yes, it's
yeah, I'm trying to get
not
that
limited showing. That's next week, isn't it? Or a week after?
Yep. Or no, 29th is when I have it. It's like it's showing it's showing in different places, it seems like, on different days. So like some people are being able to see it on the 1st, some people can see it on the 29th. So like that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday type region there, I'm assuming.
I don't get it till the 30th, which is a Thursday.
So yeah, you were saying you got it on the 30th. So like, yeah.
It's -1, right? That's is it by the same people that did Shin?
Actually, my only option is the movie in Japanese?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because it says Japanese spoken with English subtitles.
Yep. And no, it's not the same people as far as I know, Klobby. Maybe a producer might be the same, but it's different director and stuff as far as I know.
Good.
This is basically the closest we've gotten to a remake of the original film from Toho. From what I can tell from the trailer. Because what it basically is, it's like after the war, Japan's already devastated, and then Godzilla shows up and takes them even farther down. That's why it's called -1.
Very
they were already
really.
at 0. Yeah, they were already at 0. Now they're at -1 because of Godzilla. So yeah. So it looks like it's gonna be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, limited release though. I mean, like we only have 2 showings in town here.
That's what I'm saying. It seems to be doing this weird kind of release. It's supposed to be opening for a limited run on the 1st, but my showing was on the 29th. No
Mine
other
too.
showings after that. Yours is 29th. 6 is on the 30th. I was talking to somebody else who said they don't get to see it till the 1st. The UK is getting it on the 1st, I think. I think Australia as well. Well, I'm not sure.
Weird. It's Toho though, so
Yeah, but we're less than a week away as well from the series premiering on Apple.
Why is that got to be on Apple?
Is that a week?
That's 17th. Yeah.
Damn, why are we on Apple? Jeez.
I know.
Yeah, they're only $7.99 a month. They're not too bad, or $8.99.
Is there like a free trial?
Is that?
I think so.
To binge watch the whole series.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, I only pay like $8.99 for it, I think.
I got the Apple One package, so I've got the whole bundle for all the Apple services. So I don't see it separated out anymore. But I remember when it was $5.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. I haven't watched it in a while, but there is a couple things on there I've been wanting to get to. And I've been wanting to watch Tetris again. I just haven't got a chance to get back to it again. But that's because they got that, and there's a couple other shows people on there have told me about. And don't they have I was waiting for the Flower Moon movie to pop up on there too. So I'm not going to sit in the movie theater for 4 hours.
Yeah, I don't
It's not
think
gonna
that'll
happen.
be too long before that pops up on there.
I
for
was
that.
waiting for it. I was like, I assume sooner than later, but it's doing okay in the theaters. But
Doesn't really
Yeah.
sound like a man's movie. Hi, I'd like one ticket for Flower Moon.
I know, doesn't it? It sounds like something like Under the Tuscan Sun, exactly. Like,
Oh my God, what's wrong with you? You didn't like the English Patient? Seinfeld reference, folks. Seinfeld.
Yes.
English Patient Zero.
That's
That's what I call it because that's where shit went wrong for the Oscars. That's when Harvey Weinstein started buying up the Oscars every year, and it went from
Yeah.
movies that people knew to just whatever Miramax movie that
Shakespeare
year.
in
Dimension
Love
movie.
won.
Shakespeare in Love was the one that everybody goes, wait a minute.
Yeah. Even Harrison. Hey, remember when Harrison Ford was reading it out and he couldn't believe it? With the best Picture
What
Oscar.
kind
That
of
was it.
shit is
Yeah.
this? Shakespeare in Love.
Wasn't
Nobody saw this fucking movie.
That was the year that it didn't.
Private
beat,
Ryan.
Yeah, it beat Saving
Private Ryan and
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction. Or no, that was
No,
Private
no,
Ryan.
no.
What
As
Uh,
good
was
as
the year
it
after
gets.
Pulp Fiction? It was Private
Good Will
Ryan.
Good Will
is-
Hunting.
Good Will Hunting was the other one. That's what I was trying to think
Was
of.
that
Yeah.
the year of As Good as It Gets? No, As Good as It
And-
Gets was the same year as Titanic.
Yeah, that
That's
was
right.
the year after.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, same with
So yeah,
Titanic.
I remember when Shakespeare in Love won because that was back in the days when I still watched the Oscars, and I remember thinking
How
the
do
same
you-
thing because I went to go see Saving Private Ryan in the theaters. I think it was at least around 10 times, and I'm not kidding.
Yeah, because everybody couldn't believe that
me too.
Spielberg won because he won for Best Director, but it didn't get Best Picture. That's where everybody's like, "What the fuck?"
And it was either that year or the year after that. L.A. Confidential was the best movie. It didn't. win
Jackie
because
Brown
it
was the other one too that was
The
up
other
too.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and see now of all the Tarantino's movies, that one probably deserved Best Picture more than Pulp or just as much as Pulp Fiction.
That was my
Um,
favorite Tarantino film. I've said that a million times. I love Jackie
Yeah.
Brown.
No, it
Yeah.
got after that year. It was all just crap. For
I
and the
actually started
Oscars
to
have never
check
been the
out of
same.
the
Nope, you just checked out
Oscars
yourself,
on the
CC.
English Patient.
There you go. You come
What'd
back
you
and
say, CC?
So I started to check out of the Oscars for the English Patient. You know,
Oh,
that's early
yeah.
on,
Yeah.
but
God,
and I
that
still
looked boring.
watched them after that. But that was like my first. What are they even doing? You know, there were better movies I remember that year.
I never
Yeah.
watched it, so I can't really criticize
Well, that
it.
was
But
also
the
the-
trailer looked amazingly boring.
Yeah, that was also the time of year where Oscar campaigns started up
Yep.
again.
Mm.
Because previously the Oscar campaign was, "Hey, is this a good movie to be nominated?" Yeah, okay, well let's put it forward for consideration, and that's it. And now it's like, well, we're going to find out everybody who's on the Oscar committee. We're going to wine and dine them and 69 them.
Yep. That was Weinstein. Yep.
And that was Weinstein's. And all done really just so that Weinstein could get funding for all the projects he wanted to make, because he would basically just bring those Academy Awards to the banks and say, "See, I've got clout within my industry. I got reliability within my audience, blah, blah, blah. Give me money." And that's
Yeah,
that's how he
because
did it.
because for most people who may not know this, the prestigious films that Dimension and Miramax, Dimension didn't do any prestigious film. All the prestigious shit that Miramax didn't make any goddamn money. Never did.
Nope.
It was all the shit over at Dimension that made all the money. That was your stuff like Hellraiser and Dusk Till Dawn and all the horror films and
films,
action
yep.
films and Robert Rodriguez movies. You know, but so that was where he's like, "Oh, I'll just start whining and dining all these fuckers," and he did. He started winning awards because of it, and people started questioning the whole thing, and rightfully so. And I kind of checked out, and I haven't really gone back too much since. I've tried to watch them since. They make it almost impossible to watch anyway, other than having cable anymore. So
Yeah.
And it was a good red flag for a lot of up and comers, because if you ever worked with a filmmaker's like, "Yeah, I've got this idea and it's Oscar worthy," it's like, okay, so it's a crap movie and I'm not going to want to work on this, and then you move on. And that was the biggest tell, because they all said in the late 80s, early 90s, if you said you want to make an Oscar level contender, you were basically saying you want to make this the best it can possibly be. But post that, It's like, no, you're doing this for awards. You're not doing this to actually make something that people are going to want to watch.
CC's rebooting. But yeah, no, I mean, go back to the 80s. Like the movies that won Best Picture were things that people actually fucking watched. People
Right.
saw Rain Man. People don't realize that of all the big movies that came out that year, that was the biggest. And
There
it
was
was the Oscar, it was the Best
Yeah.
Picture winner.
There were some snubs too, though. I mean, there was.
Oh, yeah.
Empire Strikes Back, Raiders of the Lost Ark, not even nominated.
Well, you have that. You
The
have
Star
the
Wars
snobby
was.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, the snobby.
Does
You know.
does it ever come out who the Academy votes for, like the individual votes? Is that ever revealed?
Not that I know of.
No,
I mean, like the vote count.
it's
no.
It's still a secret ballot. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
but
Yeah,
it's
all
it's
done by an
differently.
accounting firm.
It's not like a straightforward one. They have a card, and then they put a numerical value against the nominations, and then they collect and aggregate that value so by points. So if whatever movie has the most points is going to get the win of that there, even if it's not the highest on all the cards, right? So if of the first 10 nominations, you give 10 points to one movie and 8, 9, and so forth down to the rest, it doesn't matter if that one card has 10 points. If all the other cards have that same movie at, say, 8 or 6 points, they'll end up winning the award because it's the most amount that goes to that one single picture.
Yep. It's basically it's the same way for, if anybody's a college football fan, it's the same way that they do the college football rankings in the AP and like that. When you see those numbers every week, the voting cards that go out to the media personalities and all that vote on those things, it's the point system. They use the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but that being said, like, even though Raiders lost to Chariots of Fire, Raiders still got fucking nominated. That's the point.
No, it didn't
Right.
get nominated. Raiders didn't even get nominated.
Oh, it didn't? I thought it did. Well, I know Empire did anyway.
No, it didn't. either.
It didn't?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. They were even snubbed from nomination.
Star Wars did.
Yeah, Star Wars did, and they got beat by Annie Hall.
Yeah, that's the shit that happened. So,
No,
I
no,
mean,
no.
but
Right,
that's
and-
where the backlash came because
Yeah.
everybody. That's where you get a situation where the industry's like, well, Star Wars made all its money. Annie Hall needs the attention.
Nothing
Right, like
close
that's-
to genre ever got nominated again, though, other than E.T., if you call it that.
Alien got some attention, or Aliens, I should say, got some attention, but not other than like
No,
acting
not
and I think
Best
special
Picture.
effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
Google's telling me otherwise about Raiders getting nominated.
It did
I
get
thought it
nominated?
did too. I was gonna say I thought it did.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. But that's right. No, Empire didn't, though. That definitely did.
Yeah, I'm not surprised Empire didn't, but I know Star Wars did, and I was pretty sure Raiders. Did.
Raiders did then. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that's the
Well-
thing is, even back then, they would
well-
at least nominate some movies that people had seen, and not
Yeah,
only that,
that's
the
Well,
other
that's
point I
what-
was gonna
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was
I
saying
had
this way,
another point.
Raiders was way better than Chariots of Fire. Just saying, go ahead.
Oh yeah, clearly which one lived on.
Yeah.
Who the fuck on this panel has seen Chariots of Fire, let alone in the chat?
They've heard
Like, I-
Vangelis. That's about it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
The music, the song lived on longer than the movie.
Exactly. Okay, so CC has seen it. That's it, right?
I
haven't
think-
seen
I've
it.
seen it.
I think I may have walked
Oh,
in
you
and
have
out of the
too?
living room while my mom was watching it.
I've seen the trailer.
I
That's
didn't-
about it, or
I didn't
whatever.
enjoy
yeah.
it. That's why I mentioned The English Patient. I wasn't really digging it. But
That's my
Chariots of
point.
Fire.
Annie Hall's the same great example, right? It didn't live
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Nobody
I-
gives a fuck about
I
Annie
could
Hall
never.
now.
I could. Ne-
Oh,
actually,
no,
I
angsty
could never
teenager-
finish that movie. I've tried
Angsty
several
teenage
times.
boys watch Annie Hall.
I
Do
cannot
they,
finish
though?
that movie.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I remember in college. It's like all this.
Well,
they
maybe
got-
then, yes, script, but like now, I think he's a little
Oh, today?
too.
No, nobody watches
yeah.
Annie Hall today.
That's
but
what
like,
I'm saying. Yeah.
Except
You know,
RMB,
in our
because he put it in
peer
free
group,
enterprise.
You're an angsty teenager, you are an Annie Hall fan.
You can say
Oh
the
yeah,
same
back
about
when I
you.
was in school, yeah, that Woody Allen was still considered, somebody to pay attention to if you were a filmmaker or writer or anything like that. But nowadays, he's fallen so far off that even mentioning his name, you get fucking in trouble for it.
Think of all the movies in the
Besides
last
all
20
that-
years that nobody's seen.
Yeah, well, and the point I was going to get to off of this whole thing was it killed the movie star. We want to know where it happened. This is where it happened. It happened because it used to be you could make a movie like Rain Man, right? Where it's starring
Yeah,
Tom fucking
That's a great
Cruise
movie.
and Dustin Hoffman and win a shit ton of Oscars, make all the money that year in the same fucking year that Roger Rabbit and not Die Hard. What else came in 88? There's another bunch
Die
of big
Hard
movies in 88.
did as well.
Was Die Hard in 88? Okay.
Yes.
So Die Hard and Roger Rabbit both also came out that year, but Rain Man still outgrossed them and won Best Picture. Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason that happened and the reason those movies used to happen is because you could get somebody like Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman to make a movie like that. If you made Rain Man now, it would wind up on fucking Hulu. and it wouldn't star anybody.
Roger Rabbit's better anyway.
It is.
Yeah.
It
Should've
is
been
Cloudy,
nominated.
but that's not my point.
I know,
My
I'm
point
just
At
kidding.
least
is,
Rain Man kind of deserved it.
I'm just kidding, man. I know.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like you got such a plethora of films. It's like, well, which one do we pick here? Roger Rabbit probably should have won.
Should have
for
been nominated.
Many fucking
Yeah.
reasons.
It should have been nominated for sure.
I
Here's
think it did get
1988.
nominated.
That I'm pretty sure it didn't.
You sure on that? Because it got a bunch of
I'm
Oscars.
never sure
It
of
just
my,
didn't-
my memory anymore. I'm never sure. So if you say, do you have two arms and a head? I'll say yes. You say, are you sure? I'm gonna go. I better look.
You're right. It did not get for Best Picture. It got for visual effects, sound editing,
Yeah.
film editing,
Got a lot of tech
Special
awards, yeah.
Achievement Award, cinematography, production design. I just can't believe it didn't get nominated for Best Picture that year.
It
Well,
was
that's
wow.
another thing
Made me
about the
sick.
Oscars, right? And I love sound. I appreciate sound editing and sound production and all those categories. They're hugely important. But you see a lot of great movies get those categories and not the big ones.
especially
and they
genre. Yeah.
should.
Yep. Back to
But
the
yeah,
Future
going back to
Stephen.
my point though,
Good.
that's why we don't have movie stars anymore. Because those movies, a movie like Rain Man was a vehicle for Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman, right? That movie was sold on the premise of these two making this movie together. Very little to do so much. Yes, the topic was, topical, but that didn't matter, right? My point is you can plug these actors in. You used to be able to, any of them, and do this. They can't do that anymore. You can't do that with Chris Pine. You can't do that with any of these other guys. The closest thing you could do is maybe a Chris Pratt or a Ryan Reynolds. But even then, like Script and I pointed out, even Ryan Reynolds is getting up there in age. He's not a young buck. Who's next? Timothy Chalamet?
No,
That's about the only one who. Tom Holland?
Noper.
I don't see them
Zendaya.
carrying movies.
That's the
Zendaya?
closest.
Yeah.
That's the closest thing to a movie star these days.
Wow. Yeah.
Even Chris Pratt is our age. For the most part of this panel. Like he's what, 40
He's in
something?
his
40.
40s. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
in his
44, 43, somewhere in there.
Think so, yeah.
So he's no young buck either anymore. And that's where people always like Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill. It's like, do you guys realize how old Henry Cavill really is? Like, come on.
40 years old.
Exactly. Like, he's not going to be young forever.
Compared to me.
I actually
yeah.
got in this conversation the other day about Superman. Somebody said, well, I just don't see why they can't let him play Superman anymore. I'm like, that's fine. But you do realize how old he is, right?
Yeah. He's gonna have a career like Robert Wagner, actually. Good-looking guy that's gonna be around in a bunch of things, but never really leading some huge movies.
It's like, yes, he could
Yeah.
still play Superman, but if you want an age appropriate Superman, he's way out of that range.
Could have squeezed
Yeah.
out one more, but that's about
That's about it. Exactly,
Yeah.
Clive. Like, and I see where and this is where I agree with Gunn and their move over there. Not so much about the not getting rid of the other things, but yes, start fresh. Get a young cast in here. Get us a younger Superman. I don't like the idea of Damian Wayne, but give us a
Yeah.
give us a fucking younger Batman again in that 30, 33 age range. I don't care about that. It's fine.
Mhm.
You know,
right.
I should feel like I'm too much older than these kids. That's where it should be at right now, right?
Yes. Unlike Hack Snyder, who made them different ages, made Batman older. They should be the same age. Superman and Batman.
I didn't mind that so
And
much, but you
younger.
had to make it matter. That's
They're
the problem.
supposed
He
to be
never did
content-
anything to make it matter.
They're contemporaries. They're around the same age. Should be. Snyder's an idiot.
And that's
And,
why I
you
didn't
know-
like the Joker in that either.
WB
Yeah.
at that point, they wasted a good cast. That's what they did. They took 10 years away from them.
Yep.
We could have had a Batman animated series inspired, 3 Batman animated series inspired Ben Affleck films. Hell, you could have done them as spin-offs of the animated series. And here we are this many years later, and Ben Affleck is literally playing that version of Batman. You want to know why I say that? Because I had a friend at the time that movie came out who fucking hated Ben Affleck with a goddamn passion. Fucking hated him. Loved Kevin Smith movies. Wouldn't watch the ones that Ben Affleck was in though because he hated him that much.
Wow. Sounds like me.
When
Fuck.
Batman is his favorite character. When he heard Ben Affleck was playing Batman,
Ooh.
he threw a shit fit for about a month on Facebook. I shit you not. And I would have fun with him like we do with Mikey, and him and I rib each other. But like, he saw the first trailer and he calls me. He never called me at that time. He always messaged me on Facebook and he goes, "Did you see the trailer today?" I said, "Yeah." So why? He goes, "I think I almost cried." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Ben Affleck is the animated Batman."
Aw,
So what are you
that's
talking
cool.
about? He goes, he is that, like, that's what I wanted. All this, he's like, I couldn't believe he was just beside himself, and I'm like, wow. He's like, that is the animated version of Batman. That is the animated series Batman right there.
Well, he was an idiot because it wasn't.
Well,
No,
it wasn't when we saw the movie. Trust me, after we saw the movie, it was like a fucking funeral. But just in that scene that they showed in that trailer, he, as far as he was concerned, nailed the tone of what, you know, they showed in that animated series, right? And the look and everything like that. He liked it. He's like, okay, I get it now, what they're doing. But then when we saw the film, this was the guy I was talking about, where after the movie, they were literally handing out free passes as we're leaving, and we're like, what's going on? And like, oh, the 3D wasn't working. It's like, it wasn't? We couldn't tell. It was all too dark anyway.
Yeah.
And I guess they said it wasn't, but it was. It was just because the movie was so fucking dark. Somebody complained. So we're like, and we're leaving the theater, and we're just kind of quiet about it at first. And we're like, did we miss something? Like, did we? Because I'm like, did you like it? He's like, no. He's like, did you like it? I'm like, no. But I knew I wasn't going to kind of like it because I was already MOS. I was kind of out of.
Yeah.
And he didn't hate MOS, but he was like, you know, whatever. He's just not that big of a Superman fan. So to him, it was more the Batman aspect. He goes, I liked Affleck as Batman, but what the fuck was going on there?
Well, you've been perfect for a Dark Knight Returns stuff. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, so I'm like, all right, well, let's come back tomorrow since we got the free passes. Like, maybe we missed something. Let's go see it with fresh eyes tomorrow. Maybe the 3D was fucked up, you know, whatever. Come back the next night. It looked exactly the same. So we know the 3D wasn't fucked up. After we left the movie theater, we both looked at each other like, yeah, it just fucking sucks. We're just, yeah, we were just like Martha and all this shit. We're just like, what the fuck? Because when we first started watching it, like when you have that scene come in where Batman's, you know, that flash of lightning and you get the Frank Miller shot, and the cop goes, "You're about to see some shit, kid." He was like fucking cheering in his seat because he's like, "Yes, we're getting the Dark Knight." You know, he's just like cheering. It was a full theater, like people were getting into it stuff. So, but then the movie just kept dragging and dragging and dragging.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, not to go too far down memory lane with that crap. Let's get back to some super chats here. SXHBK says another great review by Six. Yay, Six.
Yay.
She always gets it right, just like she knew that Avatar 2 would be a big hit. Yo, Mikey.
Yo, Mikey.
Yeah, I've been wrong about plenty more, but thank you, SXH. You know what SXHBK stands for?
Mm-mm.
6 has bear claws. Bet you didn't know that.
Oh.
You got bear claws and you didn't share them?
I know.
Really?
Apple
I like
filled.
bear claws.
Yummy.
They're all-
I thought you meant like
All
actual
right.
bear claws because I'm like, well, that's crazy.
That's like some furry
Bear
shit.
claw- well, it's claws with a K, which is interesting because that's
Yeah.
The
Bear
copyright.
Klaus. Then okay,
Klaus.
Bear
There,
Klaus.
Yarman. Jason Webster says the superhero themed K-drama moving is way, way, way better than anything Marvel Phase 4 and 5. Moving, I haven't heard of that. Oh yeah, you guys brought that up before. That's right. See, when I hear the
is
term,
your department.
yeah, I was say when I hear moving, I think of the Richard Pryor movie. Oh, CC, are you there?
He's having
Yeah.
connection. Oh,
Oh yeah. So did you see
you have
moving
any
yet?
comment?
No, I haven't. I hadn't even heard of it, actually.
It's a Korean drama. I think it's on Netflix.
Moving. Wonder what they're moving. Are they moving
Mm.
furniture, their
Furniture. probably.
bowels?
Either or.
What I loved is that at least a couple people laughed when I said that, so that means I'm not the only one who's ever seen moving.
Yeah.
Nah, a
I remember
70s
that one.
rock fan is definitely into the K dramas, and he's introduced me to a few. But Japan is my, if I know anything.
It's probably one of the better Richard Pryor movies that nobody remembers.
I remember that one. Vaguely.
I love the bit where they're looking at the house and they're like, "Yeah, but we're taking it with us when we move next week." And then they get to the house and the entire fucking house is just stripped, even the pool and everything. It's like, he said you was kidding. Yeah, we were kidding about the cupboards or whatever. We weren't kidding about the pool and this and that and the other. Where's my fucking pool? It's like, and then Dana
Man.
Carvey is fucking driving his car and he's got multiple personalities and shit.
Man, I don't remember much of that one.
You don't remember that movie? It's
I remember
fucking
them.
great.
I remember hearing about it, but I don't know if I've ever.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious. Well, he gets he's just, I can't remember what he does for a living, but he works for this company and he gets this really great job offer, like in Boise, Idaho, way far away, wherever they're from. And of course, his oldest daughter don't want to move, so she stays behind at first. But then like, so they move out there, they're on their way. They have, you know, just kind of a little bit mixed. It's kind of like National Lampoon's Vacation meets.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I don't know. It's kind of got that kind of a tone to it on the way there. And then once they get there, of course, like I said, the house is just trashed and they're living in, they can't find the fucking guys who have the other truck that has all their stuff in it. So they don't have any of their beds or, you know, nothing to sleep on or nothing to sit on. And they're sitting there trying to figure out where the fuck the truck's at. And they're in like Vegas or some shit like that. It's like, it's hilarious. It's just one of those, you know, everything that could go wrong goes wrong kind of family comedies. Actually, I think it's R-rated. So I don't know if I'd call it necessarily a family comedy.
80s, I think, right?
Oh yeah. 88, 89, somewhere in there. 87 maybe.
Yeah. Could be. Yeah.
One of his better films after getting burned. Yeah. Well, he had that's the thing with Richard. After he got burnt, he tried to play all these roles where he was too nice of a guy all the time. It's like, no, Richard, we like you with a little bit of edge.
He'll never touch Silver Streak and Stir Crazy.
Exactly. Like the closest he came to that would be after that would have been Moving and Another You, and nobody watched Another You. Like that's the only other time he ever played anything that wasn't the straight up goody two shoes after he got burnt, because that was like his MO. After that, he would never do anything too risque or anything like that. That was the only time in Another You where he plays a con man, where he's still technically kind of more of a bad guy than a good guy, I guess. And nobody's seen it. That's the only other movie he did with movie he did with Gene Wilder.
Oh wow!
You guys ever seen that?
I haven't seen it.
He's a con man, and Gene Wilder's a chronic liar.
Oh man, that's like that was before Moving.
It's not that bad. It's
after Moving. Before Moving or after?
It was after Moving. It was like 91, 92. Okay. Yeah. It was the last movie they did together. Yeah.
I loved Gene Wilder, and somehow I just completely missed that one.
But yeah, he lives in this like institute, and he's a chronic liar. So he just can't help himself. And then of course Richard Pryor gets in trouble and he gets community service. And so he has to spend some time with these guys at the home. So he ends up hooking up with Gene Wilder, who's a chronic liar, because these people try to use him as a scapegoat. It's a big kind of elaborate old school comedy kind of, you know, setup. But, you know, like they're trying to set him up because they want to get the money from this estranged husband. So they're going to try and pretend he's the husband and have him killed. It's kind of the plot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was not great, but it was one of the lesser known films of that era. But anyway, K-dramas, Moving. I'm not a big K-drama fan, as you could tell. I talked about something else for a long time. Oh yeah, Randy Quaid's in it too, isn't he? He plays the neighbor. Oh, yeah, the new neighbor. He's a big jerk. Yeah, that's right. JoJo Dancer. I haven't seen that one in years. Holy shit.
Wow.
That one's what he did that's based on his life. Jason Webster says, since the 1998, the Academy Awards has become nothing more than a paperweight handing out ceremony. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Amelia Clark Scroll Arm says, hey, Clobby, you rate Christina Hendricks as Lois Lane. How would you rate it?
Well, I love Christina Hendricks. She hasn't played Lois Lane to my knowledge, but even though she's a wonderful redhead and more like Lana Lang, personally, I wouldn't argue with it if I saw her. In fact, it could be the worst movie ever, and if it's got Christina Hendricks in it, I'm there. But to my knowledge, she hasn't played her. I don't know if you know the script. Has she ever played Lois Lane? I don't think so.
No. There were fans who were really into her playing Lois Lane.
I'll take it.
But the studio was like, she has to lose weight because as busty as she was a very big girl for who she is.
I got you. Well, I rate it A+ if she ever did it, just because it's her.
I rated double D.
Like if she was going to do a voice actor for it, I would totally be behind her on that because
she's done. Yeah, she's done
very
that.
Good actor. Yeah,
she's done some voice actors, I believe.
Yeah. Some people got that.
Yeah.
All right. Camelbot Killer says, so I heard Disney win in courts for delay. What's this about, Valiant?
Yesterday during, excuse me, yesterday during the earnings call, there was a hearing that was scheduled to go off in Florida regarding the whole Central Florida Tourism Oversight District deal. I have not caught up on that. Like I said, I stayed home again today. I wasn't feeling well and I was working on other
Yeah,
projects.
Andrew's been covering this, hasn't he?
Legal was covering it yesterday, and then I called him last night, and I was like, "What happened to you?" I was like, "You fell asleep after your stream." He's like, "Yeah." I laid down. I said, "All right, I'm going to take a quick nap before the earnings call starts. Before I have to be on Valiant's channel." He said, and I just died. I mean, it was like 4 a.m. when it started for him. So, but yeah. So I'd have to let me pull this up real quick and see, because I didn't even think to look at this today. Give me a second.
Yeah,
Well,
and
while
while
you're-
VR is pulling that up, can we all send Mrs. VR some thoughts and prayers because she has to take care of VR during his man flu?
Why he's a big baby.
She hadn't been here all day or yesterday, so no, I was just taking care of my dang.
Oh, so he's been pathetic.
Yeah, I've been very pathetic.
What were you gonna say, Mikey?
I was gonna say, VR, what are you looking up? All the lawsuits?
Yeah.
Okay,
While you're
Christina,
doing that,
by the way, we should. Christine Hendricks did do a voice. I knew she did voice work. That was her. That was her on All Star Superman. Well, I'm a moron. Okay, she did a fine job.
Oh yeah, there we go. I
There you
forgot that was her, but yes,
Me too.
All Star Superman was great.
Thank you,
Good,
guys.
great.
I love that. They watched it a zillion times. I think I'd remember it was her by now. But okay, take you guys' word for it and say that I rate her highly. And see,
Yeah,
it's nothing to do with her physical appearance. How about that?
there you go.
There you go.
The big story, though, of course, is that the strike is over, sort of, I guess. Well, their tentative deal on a
They
3-year
vote on it
contract.
tomorrow. Yeah.
We vote on it tomorrow, and I was waiting for Script to hedge that. But funnily enough, we have both been predicting that this was going to happen pretty much this time. I think the biggest funny part about it is, though, is Bob Iger, we were hearing, really wanted this to be done before his.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. And he got it on the
This
same
one-
day, but not before the earnings call.
Yeah, it's kind of a fuck you. And I know it is.
Yeah.
And I almost guarantee you enough people were hearing the same shit we were, and they're like, Bob Iger wants us to get this done today. Well, we're going to get this done today, but fuck him. We're not doing it till this afternoon.
Well, I mean, like, as I was talking with the guys over on the Pro Show earlier, the studios are trying to release this context that they gave the actors a deadline of 5 p.m. Pacific time to come back, and their deadline was like, come back, or else, the TV and film slate for next year is going to be absent and in trouble. And I heard from the SAG committees like, well, then you've got some thinking to do, because if they're setting that deadline, that's the thing. It's like, well, then fine. We've been on strike 118 days. They are committed to going the distance because, again, the terms that they set with the rest of the guild members was like, these are the things we need. And if the guild set a deadline, they basically if the AMPTP set a deadline of that day, they basically screwed themselves, because they just admitted defeat that if they don't get a deal today, they're going to be in as much trouble as they perceived SAG actors are. And SAG was like saying, well, you just told us what the rules are, where the finish line is for this game of chicken, and we're not going to blink. So here's our counter. You got to come back, and 40 minutes before the deadline, the AMPTP, the rumor is AMPTP came back with exactly what SAG was hoping to get. And we will see how honest that's going to actually be if and when SAG reveals their tentative agreement or their new contract that will be voted on.
Indeed. So there you go, kids. The strike is tentatively over. As the Script and I were kind of predicting, it would happen just before Thanksgiving so they could get some deals done and then go on vacation. And we're already hearing some things are getting done.
Thanksgiving Day vacation is literally going to be only a 4-day weekend.
Ooh,
Yep.
Mhm.
that's kind of funny. Because I do know, like,
what we're going to do for Christmas and Hanukkah, though. That's what I'm really.
I was going to
curious.
say, because I do know a few things that already got, like Deadpool 3 and the thing we just covered earlier, they're going to be going back into production as of January. I think Cobra Kai is going, if it hasn't started up again, because they posted something today. The one chick who plays Tori posted something today.
Peyton List, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're already started or they're going to be starting soon. Because I know a lot of these productions were just kind of waiting for this to be resolved so they could get back to work. So I wonder how much work they'll actually get done before the break. But that's interesting Script that you're here. They're only going to get a 4-day break for Thanksgiving. Because for those who don't know what we're talking about, usually they take a break from like Thanksgiving to New
The end
Year's,
of the year.
basically. Yeah.
Must be nice.
And that's where I was joking this whole time. This deal's going to come to a close as soon as they know they're going to be able to get it done. They'll get some deals done as Script said, and then they'll go on break. But if they're going to pull that shit, that means they're going to make them work for at least a couple weeks. So
Which,
we'll see.
don't get me wrong, I think everybody is very eager to have that. Because the fact of the matter
Well,
is,
you almost got it because the cruise and stuff. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to afford shit for Christmas, man.
they're not even worried about Christmas. They're just about paying off the bills that have accrued.
Well, that
in
too,
time,
but yeah.
like at this point, right? I mean, and I don't begrudge them for that. But I will say this though, if the SAG deal is reflective in any way of the WGA deal and the DGA deal, IATSE is going to want a lot of similar protections. And if the studios decide to be idiots again and force them to go on strike, that's going to hurt 2024 as well, just as much, because their negotiations are right in the summer when that's your peak filming season. If you're shooting stuff locally in California or internationally in other areas like Australia, England, Georgia, all those places.
So there you go. So that stuff's done and over with. So Merry Christmas to us, I guess.
Well, I mean, again, some of the studios, they aren't pushing the agenda stuff. So at least we have that to look forward to, but it's not going to be anytime soon because, you have essentially 6 months of backlog to catch and catching up. And as Valiant was doing yesterday on his earnings call stream, when Bob Iger said that they're expecting Q1 to not have a lot of profits, well, it's not just the regular customer interaction they're having there. They have to spend a buttload of money to make up for the 6 months of lack of productions that they didn't get to do this year. So that's why Q1 is going to be down. That's also why Q2 and Q3 are going to be down. They have to throw a lot of money at people and pay a lot of overtime, double up crews and everything like that if they want to meet if they want to get ahead or at least catch up to that 6 month delay that has been caused by the fact that for 2 to 3 months they didn't go back to the negotiating table for the WGA,
right,
and stretch this thing out.
And on top of that, what was even more unusual is that, well, not really unusual, but I'm trying to scratch my head to figure out where is the crunch going to happen. But, Iger announced during that call, too, that they were going to be even more cuts. They had $5.5 billion worth of cuts. Mostly, I think, free of that came from content spend. Well, now they're pushing that to $7.5 billion. Probably more from content spend. So they're cutting stuff out. Whatever they do green light, they're either going to green light the same amount of projects and radically slash the budgets from them, or they're going to cut a bunch of the projects that they were intending to do and slash budgets on projects. So it's a combination of both, I think. But
fewer productions with slightly higher budgets, but nowhere near as ballooned as what we've seen previously.
Right.
Well, on
That's
that note,
the impression I got.
Because I actually did not get to listen to the earnings call. I was busy editing and shit. So what was the highlights, Valiant, if there were any at all, if you could for us real quick, since you are the
Disney
kind
had
of the central hub of that.
Disney had a decent quarter. It wasn't, it wasn't bad for sure. It wasn't great, but it was just kind of there. And I think the thing that most of the public and the investor class took away was that they had the subscriber growth of 7 million core subs, meaning not including what happened with India Hotstar. Now, I want to be clear that I think about 500,000 of those were from North America. So if you remember the previous 2 quarters, Disney lost subscribers in North America, about 300,000 or some odd subs per quarter. Well, this quarter, they got 500 of those back. So they're still short roughly 100,000+ subs in North America from where they were at the beginning of the year. But they picked up millions more subs in international markets, again, not including India. Now, some of that is just because Disney has been growing in those international markets. Some of those international markets are still fairly young. They hadn't been there that long. It's not like Disney Plus opened up everywhere around the globe at the same time. So that's part of it. So they're scaling up internationally in that regard. But I mean, I think that was the biggest thing that people took away. I don't think that the park itself in Orlando, the park that Disney has, because that's where the lion's share of Walt Disney Company revenue comes from in that parks division. It's like Disney World in Orlando, and then a distant second, very distant second, is Disneyland, and then there's everywhere else. And it's kind of funny. Iger talked a lot about the attendance in the parks, talked a lot about the international parks, even mentioned Disneyland. Really didn't say anything about Orlando. Just kind of let that one go. It seemed like, because I don't think Orlando is doing that great. I think they're seeing a lot of growth potential elsewhere, and I think it goes hat in hand with what Iger was talking about a few weeks ago when they made this announcement that they were going to plan to spend $60 billion over the next 10 years in parks. And most of that $60 billion, the lion's share of that, number one, is going to be overseas. Number two, mostly in hotels and Disney Vacation Club, which is their timeshares. So that's where that is. And then, of course, there were a lot of questions about ESPN and all kind of other things and how fast they can get ESPN into a direct-to-consumer model to where they can sell it straight to the customers. I keep reminding folks that's going to be a slow rollout, territory by territory. I mean, even within the United States, over the course of probably a few years, as their contracts with linear broadcast providers come up for renewal. So like they just had the one with Spectrum, they'll have one come up for renewal with with Comcast, Cox Communications, the other 40 of them out there. So that'll just be a slow process over time.
No mention of Hulu.
No, there was nothing to be said yet on Hulu. Apparently, I'm sure they're waiting to get a number back from Comcast, or they probably already have. And now it's going to go to whatever third party that they agree on, and they'll have to go with whatever the third party valuation comes up with.
Interesting. So anything other than that, as far as any revelations, any good stuff?
Well, on the earnings calls, they usually don't go into too much detail, but y'all were talking earlier in the show before I got here about how the only thing that's coming is Deadpool 3 next year. And that was brought up on the call yesterday. That's where that came from, because we were listening to it live when it happened, because my ears perked up. Bob Iger started talking about the movies that were going to be coming out next year. And the only Marvel movie that he mentioned was Deadpool 3. And I immediately piped up. I said, well, there you go, guys. That's it. Your Captain America or Captain Falcon movie, that's off the table, gone or delayed. Then, whatever else they had slated.
4 movies delayed to 2025. 4 Marvel films.
Yeah. Whatever. I couldn't remember what the other ones were that they were slated to have. I remember you all talking about like Thunderbolts and all that. And I was the same thing. I can't remember if that's supposed to be a movie or was that a Disney Plus show?
I thought it was a movie. Show, but I thought it was a show too. I guess it's a movie.
I thought it was a show because they were going to have Harrison Ford in Captain Falcon movie, and then they were going to have him in a Disney Plus show, which I thought was Thunderbolts.
No, they're both movies from what it looks like.
Okay. Maybe I misunderstood.
I want to throw a couple things in the mix.
Absolutely,
Mikey. I found it fascinating when in the pre-earnings call, the CNBC interview with Bob Iger, when Ike Perlmutter's and Nelson Peltz's name came up.
Oh, that was funny.
So prior to the earnings call, Tom, there was a CNBC. Bob had a CNBC interview to try to get ahead of the talking points. And he talked for 20 minutes before the actual earnings call. And in that interview with CNBC, the chick asked him point blank. I have it in Twitter. I mean, I could show it to you what happened. I think it'd be interesting. Are you worried about a CNBC copyright strike?
As long as it's not too long, I don't think we should have problems.
I played the whole 20-minute live on my live stream, and
you didn't have an issue?
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
No, go for it.
All right, hold on. Let me bring it up. While I bring it up, Donnie, tell him what happened real quick while I look for it.
So they went through the interview, which to me was surprising. We were thinking that, okay, Iger's going to try to get out there, do a 5-minute spiel on CNBC, make some big announcement about Hulu or maybe ESPN and Amazon or something. get ahead of an earnings report to shed some more bright light on things and make investors happy. Well, he basically covered a lot of the data that was in the report as it dropped at 4:05 Eastern, which I was like, oh, this is surprising. And he's running this interview all the way up to the end. Last question comes up about Ike Perlmutter and Nelson Peltz. And Bob Iger said, well, you know, I haven't talked to Nelson. I don't even know what he wants this time. And her face was like, really?
What he wants this time, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
he wants to get paid, motherfucker. That's what he wants. No, sorry.
Yeah, he did not want to answer that question.
No,
and the first thing we noticed when that camera turned on him during the CNBC interview was how much worse he looks than just back in July when he was on CNBC.
Wow. That much more haggard?
Yes. Yeah, he looked like he'd aged a few years just in the past couple of months. I don't know if he's got some health issues. There were some rumors that maybe he did, and which God
why
bless
the fuck would he go back to Disney then? Why would you even, especially if you already knew?
I think the stress of trying to clean all the mess up at Disney.
I do too. That's what I was thinking.
Is what's getting to him, and yeah, he didn't.
Well, it's
look
like
good.
a president, right?
That last question really seemed to gig him, and he you know, he didn't want to. He tried to deflect his way out of that pretty quick.
So, Mikey, you got this clip here?
I can find it. Beef sent it to me, and I can't find it.
Oh, she sent it. She sent it in a DM, I think. Did she not?
Yeah, but I can't even find her on Twitter. Did she get like nuked?
What are you looking for?
Is she My Beaver or Beaver's Unit? What is she?
My Beaver's Units was her name on YouTube, I think it is.
Yeah, wait.
I'm looking for the clip from the CNBC interview 6.
Well, just here, I can pull it up on my.
I think she's got suspended.
All
right, hang on. Let me see.
Yeah, this account doesn't exist.
Oh boy,
too much unit.
What did she do now? She's kind of famous for getting popped like that.
That's why she's not showing up on my feed. I'm trying to follow a user that doesn't exist.
That'd do it.
Oh, there went that idea. Anyway, but DeValiant's right. The guy looked haggard. He didn't answer the questions right. And when he said that he had talked to Nelson Peltz and doesn't know what he wants from the board, I was like, oh shit, game on, bitch. Game on.
Yeah.
I'm going back and get it for you right now. Hang on, I got it. Just give me a second here.
No worries. While you're doing that, we've got Das Wolfen, who's been here for 16 months. We will give you a bored corgi for that. Look how bored he is. Just so bored. Camelbot Killer says VR judge pushes hearing to 2024 CFTOD versus Disney.
Yeah. There was the way an article I found was written was confusing. They saying December, but it got moved from December to March. So yeah, they wanted more time for discovery. Basically, they haven't submitted all their documents yet. And it's like, well, Disney has all this stuff. They ran Reedy Creek. They know they have it all.
So all right, we're just waiting for a clip here. Yeah, Price of Reason. How you doing, buddy? I saw your message that you saw the Marvels. I wasn't planning on talking about it until 6, and Clobby, you're like, well, we saw it for nothing then. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I didn't plan on talking about it for very long anyway. Bob Chapek is probably drinking champagne right now, got paid a ton, doesn't have to deal with this crap. You know, Price, he did get off easy in this. As long as he doesn't get pulled into any of the legal shit that comes up down the road, he's probably lucky he got out while he did.
Unless he's a witness.
Yeah,
well, there could be that as well. Yeah.
What he has to say. I would love that.
Let's see.
Just take all the restrictions off and let him speak. Don't know if I'll ever get that. But...
Oh, here we go.
Yep. All right, you ready? Let's see. This should work.
Channels. I've argued for a long time, possibly too many. I think that's true actually for the industry. Over time, with the growth of cable, a number of channels were created. I'm not sure that serves the distributor or the consumer that well, but that's maybe for another.
Oh God, yeah, he looks like he's aged 5 years.
We're focused on fewer channels.
Told you.
10 years.
And I obviously love the fact that we were able to bundle a very, very core future asset for the company, Disney Plus.
I guess right after this.
Into that deal.
You said that you're looking at all of your assets.
No,
Do you have
why?
plans
He's
to sell
nervous.
your India
Yeah,
assets?
this is going to take us right up into it.
Update there?
This is
I don't
crazy.
have an update.
I've never
I'd say
seen
the same
this.
thing about them that I said about our linear networks. we're looking in an open-minded way. We
Linear
like
networks
being
are a
in
little
business
bit
in
down,
India.
by the
We'd
way.
love
It's
to be
about
able to
10%.
strengthen our
He's
hand.
basically
I
doing the
can't,
earnings
at
call
this
on
point, predict
CNBC.
where that will end up.
I want to ask you about Nelson Peltz.
Of what?
The stock is
Here we
down
go, here we go.
15% since Nelson Peltz declared the proxy fight over. He indicated, and he has teamed up with Ike Perlmutter, who formerly ran Marvel, that he is perhaps preparing for more activist action against Disney. Have you heard from him?
I had a call from him, but I must say I don't have specifics about what Nelson is really after or what he will ask for. I will say that as
So
is the
they're
case, has been the case
adversarial.
in the past, the management and the board is always willing to listen to what shareholders have to say.
No, you're not.
We're in lockstep with the board in terms of our
That's the problem.
opportunities and our challenges.
You're
and
in lockstep
our
with the board.
strategic
You are the
direction.
board.
We all feel very
put them all
optimistic
there.
about the future of the company.
The board is in
I don't have
lockstep
anything
with
more to
him.
add
That's
really
the
about
problem.
that. Although I will say, in terms of your comment about our stock price,
Yes,
we don't manage the stock price, for short-term gains or on a short-term basis. We have a long-term
Liar.
view, and in fact, this past year has been spent fixing a lot of things that needed to be addressed, either because of decisions that were made or because of the disruption in the business.
Yeah, he basically is like, because of decisions that were made, like, that Bob Chapek guy screwed all this up. I mean, that's it's jackass. So yeah, so that was the extent of the.
That is kind of funny though. He's looking pretty rough. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we didn't expect all this stuff. We had to correct a lot of things because of decisions that were made. It's like, the ones you did.
I was gonna say, no. Basically, he's undoing all the stuff that Chapek did to unfuck his mess.
Yeah,
And that's why Nelson Peltz is pissed at you right now, you dumb fuck. I don't even have to be a financial analyst to know that.
Tom, exactly. Fucking
Yeah.
exactly, Tom. Exactly.
Well, you saw, because Gary came on yesterday after the call, and I was telling him about. I said, one of the big reasons that he doesn't like Nelson Peltz and damn sure doesn't like Ike Perlmutter is because how friendly they are with a certain former president. And then, hilariously enough, just like an hour or so after,
Minutes.
Yeah, ended the stream. I don't know if you saw the video I put up last night, but well, Trump was at a rally in Florida, sitting right next to Ike Perlmutter, and says, "Hey." I don't know if you.
No, I didn't see that, but
Pull it up,
interesting,
Valiant.
All right, hang on.
Yeah.
Because
Says Ike is upset that Disney wokeified Marvel. And but again, as I said earlier on the show, Ike's got a little responsibility in that department. He sold it to Disney, and he shouldn't have. He would have made way more money keeping it where it was.
Weren't you the one who was telling me, Script, that initially the initial deal was more of a distribution deal?
Yep, it was originally a distribution deal
type deal, and then it changed when they pushed Perlmutter out? Is when Disney fully bought out Marvel, or what's
the
the
deal
deal?
was tentatively set in 2009. That's when Ike started the deal and basically said, "Yeah, you can buy this, but I want full control." Disney. The rumor is that Disney requested an offer to nix the contracts they had with Universal, Paramount, and Fox over distribution, but they were only able to kill Universal and Fox stuff at that point, and so Paramount got to stay in until Avengers was released. But basically, as soon as the finances finally changed hands, which was many years after the initial offer was done in 2009, which I think coincided with the Avengers release, because I think that's actually how it actually occurred. That's when they started to push Ike out.
Yeah. Well, speaking of going out, Klobby has to leave us, so I'm going to let him take the floor for just a moment before we go to this Trump video. Klobby, what you got going on?
Oh, we're gonna go get ready for the show tonight. Sorry, but bug out on you like that at the top of the hour at 9 Central. So got the clubhouse tonight with Raquel and Mark, of course, reviewing Blake 7 and Star Trek comics and talking Doctor Who and other things, and then Saturday Night Star Trek, of course, on oddly enough Saturday night. But thanks for having me, buddy. I don't want to disrupt the flow. I could have just got out, but
No, you
thank you all.
break there, so I thought I'd give you a moment to plug your stuff. Thanks for
buddy.
being here, Klobby.
All right, my friends, great seeing you
Take
all.
care.
Everybody, take
See ya.
care.
All right, so what do we got here? We got Ike Perlmutter hanging out with Mr. T.
Yep.
Leaders in history have been way over 80.
some of the people I know, some of the smartest people. I have one of them here tonight. He's one of the most incredible businessmen in the world. And I won't say he's over 80, but let's say he's right around. I don't want to insult him. The great Ike Perlmutter, he's right over here. He's one of the greatest businessmen. He owned Marvel. He sold it to Disney. He's not too happy with Disney going woke.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know, they live down the street
Wow.
in West Palm Beach.
Trump
Good night,
has no
folks.
filter.
Make sure you're subscribed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
sure Ike's like, I really wish he hadn't said that, but fuck it, it's out there now.
Yep. Fuck it.
That is gold, yo. That is fucking gold.
Right?
We got a brand new update on another film that's gotten pushed release date. This is literally the ink is still drying on this one. This just popped up at 16 after the hour. Venom 3 has been pushed to November of 2024. So there you go. I think it's
sure
just a
there's
few months, I
many
think.
people really looking forward to Venom 3.
Yes, they are. I'm sure.
And more than the Marvels?
That's probably true. That's probably an accurate statement.
So in other words, 3 people are looking for. Okay.
I don't know. 2 wasn't
That's more than-
horrible.
that's more than the Marvels.
The thing,
It
well,
had
the
some
sad part
moments.
is the Venom films are forgettable. They don't
They are.
hold much conversation long after they've been released.
You know what's weird is I think I remember more of the second film than I do the first film, though. Script, which is funny.
Oh, Craven
because
is
of the
still-
funny scenes.
Craven's still scheduled to come out next year, isn't it? Or they
I think
moved
so.
that to 2025.
That'll probably get announced here in just a few minutes, probably. I
No,
think
they
that's done
shot- they
filming, though,
finished
isn't
production.
it? I was going to
They
say,
released
yeah.
their trailer. I know that they finished principal photography. I don't know about second unit or anything of that, but yeah.
Honestly, the only thing I think I remember out of the first movie is that stupid scene where they're having dinner for some dumb fucking reason. That scene sticks out to me more than anything, where they're sitting at the restaurant, him and his wifey poo girlfriend, whatever she is. And then the second film, I remember Venom making breakfast, which was hilarious. And I remember the scene at the club, which was funnier than I thought it was going to be, even though it was kind of cringe. It was still, because I liked that he didn't get the joke. You know, like, that's because he didn't get that they thought he was gay, and it was all about he to him it was all about being an alien. So,
Can I say here that apparently the official audience review bombing of the Marvels has begun.
It
of course,
has
review
begun.
bombing it up, of course. But I do find it funny that audience scores were allowed in, I think, starting about 2 hours ago. And an hour ago, I looked, and it's gone up from like 60% to now 83, but it's still only at 100 plus verified ratings. It hasn't even made it up to 500 or 1,000 yet. That's tells you everything you need to know, because usually within a couple hours of a big Marvel movie coming out, you've got at least 1,000 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's just nobody is seeing this thing. This is yikes.
If you've been paying attention to Attack on Titan, same thing. The reviews are all 10s and 1s. And then you get those people who are giving it 2 because they know that the 1s will get discounted.
I haven't watched. I think I'm like a whole 2 seasons behind, because there's what 5 or 6 seasons now.
Oh, I know. I'm behind on everything because backlog is huge, right?
I give people credit for thinking of that, but that also in a way kind of reinforces that there is a review bomb. Look, as far as I'm concerned, just don't pay attention to it. Then they can claim there's review bombing, and it's like, no, nobody went and seen it. Nobody's rating it. Right? Like, that's where I would feel better in this situation. It's like giving it a 1 to me is whatever. Because like even 6 and Klobby had to admit it wasn't as bad as they thought it was going to be, but it wasn't good.
That's not what I said.
Well, basically, that's kind of what Klobby said, I guess, in a way.
Okay.
It's a movie that's there, but it doesn't do enough to actually make people angry. I'll put it to you that way.
Okay, I amend what I said. You both did say it was not as woke as you thought it would be. That's what I meant. Sorry. So there was that aspect of
Yeah,
it. But
there wasn't really anything woke that I can.
No, like a line about fracking, and that was it.
Oh, yeah, I laughed at that one because it just
Well, at least we're
that
up
was
to, like,
so
movies.
forced in there.
So we're up to movies that aren't woke but are bad.
Well, back to where we should be, which is the fact that wokeness, as bad as it is, it's not usually the defining factor of what makes a movie good or bad. There's all these other
Mhm.
elements around it that determine such a thing. And
Well,
this one here, it's just bad and barely has any woke in it. So they don't even have that shield to hide behind.
Excellent point.
well, and you, yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say something else and I
I
lost my
fell
train of
asleep
thought.
watching it. It's just
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
It's only 98 minutes, so man.
Oh, I remember. I was gonna say
I wasn't
6.
feeling good. So I mean, it's a great movie to fall asleep to.
You made a point earlier that because I was just trying to stay out of that conversation at that time, but you did make a point that I thought was pertinent. It was like you said that you thought since the critics weren't liking this one, you might. Well, no, and I agree with script, and
Yeah.
that's the point here. Is we're back to normal, and this is what I've been saying forever: is critics are not supposed to like these kind of movies. These are the kind of movies that are supposed to be critic proof, right?
Yeah.
I'm used to a critic coming out and saying, "Guess what? Batman Returns sucks." Like, yeah, okay, good. We know you weren't gonna like it because you're a snooty fucking critic, right? Like, okay,
Yeah.
good. Like, that means it's probably better than I thought it was gonna be. I think the first time that the only comic book movies I remember in history ever getting good ratings were Superman the movie, the original Batman, but that was hedged to fuck. You go watch all the original Batman reviews. Even Siskel and Ebert argued about the original Batman because I think Ebert didn't like it. Or no, it was the other way around. Siskel didn't like it. Ebert did, but Ebert gave it thumbs up just for they liked it for the same reason, which was weird because Ebert gave it thumbs up because he liked the aesthetic and the Gotham City and all that business. And Siskel's like, yeah, I give you that. It looks great, but it doesn't have any story. And he's like, well, we agree on that. He's like, well, if you think that's good enough to give it a thumbs up, that's fine with you, but I'm not, because I think that was a split on that one. And I think they both gave thumbs down to Batman Returns. But like the only other time is like, I remember for the Ninja Turtle movie, Ebert said, this is the best Ninja Turtle movie you're ever going to get. Little did we know he was fucking right. Because Siskel even gave it thumbs down, but Ebert, I think, marginally gave the first one a thumbs up. Other than that, like very rarely did you see any critic ever like a superhero movie. Spider-Man might be the only other exception that I think a few critics gave it a good reviews.
Spider-Man
and then up
2.
until you get to, I was going to say up until you get to The Dark Knight, though, they were all pretty much harsh on those kind of movies. You were going to say, CC.
No, I say Spider-Man 2 got great critic review, particularly I think from Ebert, and if I'd have to double check that, but that movie won over the critics for sure.
Well, Ebert, when he was getting older, there was also just liking a lot of that shit.
We didn't like the
Like-
first Spider-Man.
He didn't give the thumbs up to the first one.
No. I remember reading his Chicago Tribune review, and he was very
Yeah.
dismissive of it.
I'm kind of
He called the Green
surprised.
Goblin wearing rocket boots ridiculous.
He did not like the first one, evidently, kids. Because I know it's kind of surprised because I know after Siskel died, he became a lot softer. He gave a lot of things passes I wouldn't have seen him give passes before. It's like, okay.
No, I just pulled it up on Google. Yeah, he gave it 4 stars. Spider-Man 2, heroically human, 4 stars.
Yeah,
Thumbs
I
up.
saw this too. Andre Enrico, the Marvels has been getting some help. Clearly,
Oh, what does that mean?
it jumped from what was it originally 40% this morning.
From the audience?
Yeah, 83%. Sorry, 83% audience score right now.
Yeah, not
And
the critic
42
score. Critic score has
No.
been getting
Oh,
help.
critic score, audience score. Yeah.
42% on top critics. If what you're looking, I'm actually reading some of the blurbs of the reviews on it now, and I don't think it's an accident. It looks like most of the top critics that were actually scoring it positively were the female writers, but one of them here is particularly funny. Let's see. This is from Patrick McDonald of WBGR FM
They
radio.
don't
I
even
guess.
have an audience score on here yet.
Yeah, if you click, it does on mine. I'm looking at it. I don't know why. Try refreshing it. That's weird because I got one. I'm on a mobile app, but I mean, it's
Oh,
there.
nothing.
It's
Click
not you're
on-
going
Click
through
on it.
puberty again, VR.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm losing my voice.
Nothing.
This film is brilliantly original as the all-woman production team creates scenarios that are outside the usual.
Original.
The
It
com-
steals a plot point from Spaceballs.
The comic book
Yeah.
geeks out there can finally take a date because all can enjoy. Right. Nobody in the history of ever has brought their wives and girlfriends to go see a Marvel movie before now, and women have never gone to go see them. That's what this guy is basically saying. That is, of course, if they can get a date. That's his review.
Did he really fucking say that?
Yes, I'm
wow.
reading it.
What a
pull it
dick.
up on that. Pull it up on that RT.
I believe you. I'm trying to
up.
log in here to see if that'll make a difference. Maybe if I log in, it'll show.
I'm looking at the blurbs. I'm like, this is
no. I log in and it still doesn't show a score for me. I don't know why not.
That's crazy.
Huh.
It might not have the overwhelming impact of an Endgame or even a Guardians 3, but this is the MCU back on fast, funny form.
No.
It hasn't left that. I mean, that's all they've been.
Empire Magazine. Yep, you're looking at it now. There you go.
Yeah, I got these up here, but I still don't have the audience score on my end.
It's just
a lot of rottens there, though. So.
Oh yeah, it's sitting rotten. It's still sitting
critics.
rotten for the
42%.
59 now. It went up a little bit, but the top critics are still sitting at 42. Yeah.
Yeah, the top critics are the ones that if a studio was going to pay off some reviews here, that's the ones they probably can't get to.
I mean, am I going to be surprised if some 12, 13-year-old girls enjoy this film? Fuck no, I'm not going to be surprised.
Right.
No, I think they would like it, actually. Yeah.
But there's just not enough of them that are interested to go see this movie to justify what they spent.
Not the Barbie crowd that they're going for, no.
And if they do like it, good for them, because there's nothing wrong, like society-wise, culturally wise. There's nothing that's going to
influence
stunt their growth or be a negative influence on it. I guess.
Right. Yeah. No, it's definitely harmless in that regard. It's just not very good.
Harmless, but not very good. That's the best you can say about it.
Film. That's the best I can say is that it's a basic film. It looks like it's directed by a paint by numbers director. You understand the premise and the conflict with regards to the bad guy, but we get no real character development on your heroes. They're brought together through a contrived reason instead of one that people can get behind. And some of the significant plot points that occur as part of the crux of the story are completely forgotten and dismissed. And you're like, well, where's the heroic aspects of that if they're not going to be helping these people? And by these people, I mean different species. So yeah, it's nuts. Even the X-Men cameo scene at the end, the costume they put in her, the colors on it were atrocious. It looked like she was kind of half naked, but not. Even though it was like a red, but it was more of a brownie maroon. It was just bad what they did to Letitia, whatever her last name is, with her recently hero Binary after the binary star system.
Tom, you're such a dork.
Don't know what's going on right now, but I don't want to know.
Wax lips, huh?
You look like you're all ready for Kevin Feige's couch.
I'm gonna have nightmares about this.
Where have those lips been?
I got them from the store today. They're on clearance. I'm like, I haven't seen wax lips in 30 years, 20 years. Like,
Tom's
I gotta
gonna
buy
practice making out.
They're kind of constrictive. They're novelty. I mean, come on. But let's see here. We got Running with Scissors, who says, "Hey gang, some good news. Netflix dropped a tease for Arcane season 2 coming in November 2024. Wow, there you go, Arcane fans. Getting a second season. Excellent news for them. I have not seen Arcane, so I can't really comment it. Has anybody seen it?
Yep.
No.
Nope.
What'd you think, Mikey?
I enjoyed it.
Good to know.
Yep. Good talk.
I know, me too, all of a sudden, because somebody said hot lips. I want to watch MASH. This isn't a hospital, it's an insane asylum. Anyhow, let's get the hell out of here. What do you guys say?
Yes.
Script Doctor, what you got going on?
I'm going to be on Price of Reason's channel in about 15 minutes talking the classic and good and well-written Quantum Leap as opposed to the revival
sweet.
series.
Excellent. Yeah, I turned him on to you because he's like, you want to be on the show? I'm like, well, I have not watched the show in 20 plus years, probably. I have the Blu-rays, I just haven't got around to it. But you know who's a big fan? He's like, who? I said, well, Mr. Script Doctor knows a lot about that show.
Yeah, thank you. Because it was last week we did the first part 1 of the pilot, had a blast, and we're picking up with part 2.
I remember the episode when he was retarded.
Tom, don't you use that in one of your
No, that's Yellow Flash that actually uses
that Yellow Flash?
Yeah.
I remember that too.
That's one of the main reasons I remember that one. That, and then I remember the one where he was the black lady, and I remember the one where was that the first episode or was that like the second episode?
Third or fourth episode, he becomes a black man.
One. Oh, was
and
a black
one of
man?
the running
Okay.
jokes is every time he leaps into a woman's body, he gets really disappointed because he
that's
doesn't
right.
want to be in a woman's body.
Yeah, he was only a woman a couple times. You're right, because like, okay, yeah, so he's a black man early on. I'm trying to remember. It's been so many.
like that.
There's one where he's plays an undercover cop who actually is undercover as a streetwalker, but it's a guy, and he thinks that he leaped into a woman's body, and then he realizes no, it's just an undercover cop, and he was so relieved.
Oh yeah, wasn't that like that's earlier one too? Because I think that's in
like
all
a
the
third or fourth season one, I think.
Oh, is it? I
Yeah.
remember that always in the credits. Maybe that's why it's a later episode, I guess. But God, that's the thing. A lot of them meld together for me, and then I just remember the ending being so disappointing.
It was well, I mean, it wasn't the intended ending. They shot stuff for season 6, but ended up scrapping it for stupid reasons.
Well, I just remember it being just like this thing on the screen that said, "And he never made it home," or whatever it was.
Yeah,
It was just
Sam
like,
Beckett never found his way home. Well, that's yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird ending, kind of like Elf, but at least with Elf,
but
they got to pick it up.
if you're a Quantum Leap fan, you can actually find it on YouTube. There's a scene between Dean Stockwell and the woman that plays his wife that Sam corrected in the timeline, and Dean is trying to is talking with her about finding a way to find Sam, and that was going to be the premiere of season 6. But they only got that little bit done when they found out that they were not coming back, and I believe that they shot that before they ended up releasing the last episode. So that's why they have that black image, or
Like they shot it as a teaser, probably, and then yeah.
Well, they shot it as, because again, while they were releasing the series, they'd be in production of the subsequent season, because the show, it was a 23 to 24 episode season. They would have a break over the holidays, but you're back 13. It's your first 13 weeks of the following year, which they'd already be in production on the next season at that point. And when they found out they were going to be canceled, they had to recut the last little section of the last episode to basically say that Sam never went back home. And it was pretty disappointing. And what was oddly enough ironic is that when Star Trek Enterprise had just finished, they were all set to start going on to season 6 because they were told, and they kept on getting delayed going back to shooting. And then it wasn't until a month that had passed where they would normally be shooting season 6 that they found out that they got canceled. And that was why they were being delayed. They didn't want to spend any of the money to.
I wonder if that scene's on the Blu-rays I got. If not, I'll have to check that out.
I don't think it's on the Blu-rays though.
I was a big Quantum Leap fan back in the day. I caught it in syndication, given my age, and I love that you mentioned that, Script Doctor, because the end of Enterprise and that whole point in time, that's the last time I ever watched cable television. For me, that was the end. I gave up completely.
Yep.
Well, with that, CC, since you're talking anyway, what do you got going on coming up? I know you've been doing some MTV kind of stuff. What's that all about?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can always catch me on Friday nights doing karaoke, but lately I've gotten really into finding music videos of independent artists, because there's what 10, 20, 30,000 new songs every day on the internet. We're kind of living in that time, so I've been digging it up, and
like a renaissance.
Yeah, there's amazing music that just gets buried. If it doesn't get picked up by the algorithm within 10 days, YouTube will not show it to you. So it's hard to find.
Right.
It's just been fun. Try and dig up all the great music.
Yeah, I look forward to checking into that. One of these days I'll hop in on one of those if I want to. Valiant, guess what I got in the mail today?
I don't know. What'd you get in the mail today?
Speaking of...
You got all 11 of them?
11, no. Just the 7 movies.
I bought them digitally a couple of years ago on iTunes, and they were on sale for like $20 for all 7 of them, or something, or $15. It was something I couldn't pass it up. But hey, I remember you talking about getting this. So let me know how they look.
Yeah, they're 2 new 2K scans of the inner positives. Because I have the import Blu-rays, which are basically from the old DVD masters, but
yeah,
they got all the old special features, some new stuff. Yeah, it's for the price, it's kind of meh. I'm a little disappointed. They didn't upgrade it a little bit. Maybe not at least do a 4K scan, even if it's a Blu-ray. Would have been nice, but, of the negative. But hey, it's Police Academy. We're not going to bitch too much.
No, I got actually I watched Fargo last night and the rest of it this morning. I fell asleep last night. I was so tired.
Have you been checking out the series though?
I haven't yet. No.
First 2 seasons are really good, and I'm going to be watching 4th season next week. 3rd season was not that great.
I've heard people talk about it. What is it on?
I think it's Netflix. You can get it on now.
Is it on Netflix? Okay, I have to go look.
Because I watched it on I watched it on linear broadcast when it first came out, because it was on like FX, if I remember, or something of that nature for a while.
Okay. Yeah, I love the movie. It's always one of my favorite movies, and I got that. And then this afternoon, I was watching MI7. I got Dead Reckoning in this week because that one just came out. I think it came out last week, but so. But yeah,
I got Dead Reckoning. I'm kind of wondering where the fuck My American Graffiti is. It was supposed to be here today. Did not show up.
Yeah.
It's still late. It's supposed to be here Tuesday, actually, I should say.
Because you were going to
says
rip
it's
it
on the
open
way.
and sit down and watch it right away.
Fuck yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm worried because of what I've heard. It's got tons of DNR on it because George Lucas.
Do not resuscitate.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Digital noise reduction 6.
Oh, okay.
It's where they basically scrub out all the grain so it looks like plasticky. George has a tendency to do that. That's why
George is the king.
He is, but he has problems.
No, he's perfect.
Yeah. We're not going to get into that. Anyway, Valiant, what you got going on besides the obvious?
Well, just trying to take a break a couple of days here just to recover. Hopefully tomorrow I should be feeling better. Yeah, I got to go back to the office because I haven't been there in 2 days. I got stuff to do. And but this weekend, I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about the Marvels here and the impact that this box office is going to have on what's going to happen going forward, plus all the delays and whatnot. So hopefully we'll have some information, more information on what's up with the terms of this strike deal. So Script can come in Sunday and tell us what he thinks if he gets details by then.
Yeah.
But we may not. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, they vote the deal tomorrow, so hopefully it'll get released publicly over the weekend.
That's what I was kind of hoping. So I got you, and I asked Paulie too to come hop by. So, yeah, we'll play it by ear, see what we got between now and then. I'm sure there'll be more news to cover. So, yesterday was a long day, man. I started at 6 a.m. and didn't finish till 10 o'clock at night.
Sounds like my last few days, man.
Sick the whole way through, and I'm like, oh my god, I think
but
yeah, streaming for like a total of 10 hours between jumping on everybody else's show in between too.
You love it, you YouTuber, you.
It would have been easier if I hadn't been feeling so bad, but we got it done.
Well, I heard 6 gasp there. What's going on over there?
Oh, something discussing film dropped. Good find there, 6.
What does it say?
It's a crew reel from Coyote versus Acme.
Oh,
really?
That's more than we got out of
Batgirl.
Batgirl, yeah. Sorry, I was on another page here. My bad. Let me see here.
That's
oh my god, that's loud. Holy shit.
I don't have the value.
I'm afraid to show this though.
Why?
No, it's a bunch of still photos from like.
Oh, okay.
Little bits of footage, but not footage of the film, just behind the scenes stuff.
No.
All right,
yeah.
maybe we can.
Yeah.
The set guys just building the sets.
All right. Well, we could probably show this, I guess. Then I just don't want to get any.
WB have to prove ownership of it if they wanted to strike you.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, there's no way.
Of course, it's gonna pull this shit. Twitter.
What's it's
It's freezing on me just to be a dick.
just to piss you off.
Just to piss me off.
Oh my God, they got an Acme rocket. I love it.
Okay.
No, it looks a lot of the stuff in there looks really like authentic, classic Looney Tunes Acme stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing out here.
I really, really want to see.
Yeah, there's probably a reason for it though. So, thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Oh my God, the hell just my phone started.
That's your video.
My
What is
phone.
that?
No, my phone started auto playing something. It looks like a Ryan Kindle video on YouTube.
I was gonna say, or there's something like that. Yeah, I knew
Yeah.
this thing. All right, kids. Who was left? Six. You got anything going on?
Midnight's Edge in the morning tomorrow in 14 hours. Ish.
Something like that. Mikey,
Yes.
I miss you.
Miss you more. Love you more.
Gay.
You're not coming to Milwaukee.
Super gay.
Nope.
So yeah, next week
And
Thursday.
I'm especially not coming to Milwaukee after what freaking Gary Neurotic said as I was signing off a Valiant show last night.
What'd he say?
Oh, he called him a YouTuber.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Gary straight up said Mike is a YouTuber.
No,
Then
he
you
said
have
like
to show
4 or
up
5
now.
times rapid fire. Just
Yeah.
and he suckered me, and he's like, Mikey. I'm like, Gary, see you later. Yeah, I was all like, I'll see you later, Gary. And he's like, Mikey, I love you. And I was like, oh, I love you too, Gary. And he's like, and you are a YouTuber.
We have so much proof of it. Mikey.
Yeah.
Oh, I got an ace up my sleeve that Mikey keeps forgetting about.
There's
Oh
only
my
that one.
That if he
Twitter
really
post
wants
I
to throw
deleted.
down.
Nope, there's that screen capture I made in the private chat a few
What?
weeks ago. I sent it to Tom.
Oh yeah, there was something
That's
else.
that's private chat behind StreamYard.
Well,
That
we
is,
went
but-
into discovery with our lawsuit.
What?
But Mikey keeps forgetting that I have a little ace up my sleeve that one of these days
What the hell?
he's gonna want to throw down, and he forgot all about it. He told me about it, and I said, right there's proof, the ultimate proof that none of us.
Wait, I told you something, and then you went and grabbed whatever the heck that was, and now it's wait, what?
Is that you're talking about two different things here. See,
It's because you got me confused now.
see, Six caught you saying something in the private chat
Okay.
that has proof.
Then there's the
You're a
Twitter
YouTuber.
thingy.
There's a Twitter thingy, and then you told me something
Oh.
that is a little ace up my sleeve that I'm not going to say unless you really push me one of these days. That is the ultimate proof that you're a YouTuber. You know what it
Gotcha.
is because you told me, and I told you. I'm like, now I have
don't
it. You're
remember.
Like, fuck. You're like, you're right. Fuck.
I don't remember.
I'll remind you after the show, my friend.
All right.
Speaking of which, I don't know if I'm going to drop in over on Comics Division, but it is linked to the show. Head on over there. Those guys, I think, watched. I know at least Comics Division watched the Marvels. I think that's what they're going to talk about. So you went
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Gary in a
Yeah, he had a
date.
picture coming out the theater with Gary on Twitter.
The guys look so Gary in comics look so freaking bored.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think
God, they look so the look in the face, they
Forever.
were so bored.
I'm telling you, I was watching it. I wasn't feeling well. I think I dozed off about halfway through it.
It's only an hour and a half.
I know. I couldn't. I'm not feeling well to begin with. Like I said, I've been sleeping half the day anyway. But that did not help me.
Wow.
Well, Unknown says, pop in, Tom, and gives me the sad puppy dog eyes. We'll see. I'll see what they're talking about. If they quit talking about Marvel after a bit, maybe I will.
Just talk about Marvel.
Yeah.
I got 7 Police Academy movies to watch.
Oh.
Damn right.
This is why I don't fret over this new shit. It's like I got tons of old stuff I could watch.
I was
Makes you
thinking
want to
about
replace
watching-
somebody's shampoo with crazy glue.
I was thinking about watching the show that I never saw called Firefly. Should I do that?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a good show. I just haven't watched it yet.
Which movie was that? Was that from? VR
The second one.
was the second. No, I want to watch them too.
Yeah,
Or was that the third one? Now I can't
hilarious.
remember.
Yeah,
No, it was the
that
second one, I think.
That was
Because then he also gets the body cavity shirts right after it.
was it
Poor
that one?
Mauser.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it was Mauser, but yeah, the
Mauser
pranks
was
they
in
pull
2
on
and
him-
3. Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
2
no.
and 3 kind of meld together for me sometimes. But yeah.
Exactly. That's what I say. The pranks they pull on him blend together. I can't ever keep it straight because I
And
think
Proctor.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love Proctor.
Oh, I love a man that eats shrimp that way. You do?
That was 3. That was at the ball.
That was 3, yes.
Yeah.
'Cause that's when the prostitute comes back from part 1.
Yes. Yes. So it's
Yep.
sad.
He's in the fucking elevator and sitting naked.
Yeah. And of course, where does he walk into accidentally buck naked? The Blue Oyster Bar.
The Blue Oyster Bar, yep.
Yep. It is sad that we know these movies as well as we do.
Yes, indeed.
Ah, man.
Oh, I love Police Academy. I don't care. Unapologetically, I love them. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's they. If I saw them now, I'd probably think they're dumb as fuck.
Well, you're about to find out.
Well, no,
Oh,
he
no,
means
I've
the
seen 'em-
first time.
No, I mean if I see them for the first time, exactly. Like, but
Yeah.
I've watched them endlessly since I was a child.
Good luck with Mission to Moscow.
Oh, that's the worst
I've
one.
watched
That
it,
is
too. That
the
is
worst
terrible.
one. I've only seen that one maybe 4 or 5 times tops. CC maybe.
I can even get through
Uh.
6, but I can't get through 7.
I don't hate 6, but I don't like 6.
Thanks.
It's
Um,
okay.
I'm gonna clip that.
I really just
Cry
can't
myself.
stand 6. It's
Yeah.
horrible. It's-
I just caught that. Oh,
No,
God.
Police Academy 6 is one of the lesser. Yes, they after part 4 they fall off a cliff. They kind of peak at 4 and then just go.
Well, God,
5
I'm
is
glad-
okay, but
I'm glad
yeah.
I
I love
phrased it
3.
the way I did. I was about to say something like, I can do 6, but not 7. I'm like, what then we would have really been getting some clips and
I
jokes.
generally stop around 4 or 5. I don't always get to the part 6 or 7, but sometimes I do. But no, part 4 has probably always been my personal favorite. I'd say that's probably the peak at that point. Citizens
well,
on
that-
Patrol is just you can't
That-
get.
no, yeah, Mrs. Feldman and all that. I even like, Assignment Miami Beach or whatever the.
It's
50s
all
was
right.
called. Yeah,
It's just missing Mahoney and Bobcat. Like those two, like really made
Right.
the thing work.
Yeah,
Especially
well, he didn't-
Bobcat Goldthwait's bits in the 4th film are so good. When he goes to the fucking poetry slam thing.
Oh yes.
To
Fart,
promote-
blew a fart, blew the whole damn thing apart.
I'm gonna talk about Citizens on Patrol. It's the program.
Wait a minute, lady. I am the police.
Wait a minute, I am the police. He said, "Shut up! I'm watching Family Affair." See, this one's a repeat.
People forget that was one of the first big films for Sharon Stone.
Yes. Yeah, the 4th one. Yeah. Speaking of, she was in the news today. I guess the former head of Sony put his wang in her face.
What? What?
Mhm.
Like back
I'm
in the
wondering if it was-
90s or yesterday.
I don't know.
There's a
She said it.
difference.
No. Yeah, right. Yeah, yesterday she'd have been happy about it. No, 90s. It was more like actually before, like around that period. That's what made me think of it again because I just saw it earlier. Because it was before she was in Basic Instinct and all that stuff. So it had probably been like mid 80s.
Yes,
I would
you
say.
mean the movie that she said she didn't know.
And
her
it's funny she
design
said
was gonna be on
Sony,
camera.
I think, because it wasn't Sony yet until 1989 or 90.
Yeah,
So it had to be Columbia
it's Columbia TriStar.
because she's trying to get
Very
attention over the Me Too thing.
You had your chance.
Yeah, she went on some whole fucking spiel about it. I was just like, whatever. Like, honey, I'm not trying to say you know it's because you dress that way, but if you're gonna flash your beaver in movies and act like a fucking whore all the time, it's no wonder.
No, she doesn't act like a whore. She just flashed her hoo-ha. That's not a whore.
Oh no, she was a floozy. She even admits
Who
she
did
was
have
flirty.
sex with for money.
Oh God, chances are she slept with a lot of people for money, for all we know.
Chances are.
Chances are. I'm not gonna say I have any proof of that, but no, she even
We're
admitted in
supposed to
this.
start singing. Chances are.
Chances are. No, she actually admitted in this whole thing that she was flirty back
She was a
then. So
whore?
she didn't say she was a whore, but she said she was flirty, which
Okay, that's not being flirty. Is not being a whore.
Yeah,
let's be
because
real.
if that was the
Let's
case,
translate it.
if that was the case, I'd be a man whore.
Well, you are.
Wait, what?
Oh,
That's
I
just
can't
a
believe
nice
jumping
way of
out window
saying it.
video is here.
I don't like how this show is not.
Nah, I
created.
don't know how she You're not in a safe space. When are you going to figure that out?
Do you have any jumping out the window videos back there? Because
Oh my God, not Valiant Renegade
it's
too.
a gas.
Culture sent him to
All
me.
right,
So
past my bedtime. I gotta go.
All right, we got to let Mikey go. What do you got going on? You going to be on the morning show tomorrow? Or you got work to do?
That depends on my client. If
Fair
he
enough.
doesn't show, I'm on deck.
All right, I know how
If he
that
does
works.
show, then I can show up an hour late.
Yes, and I know Sadie, you got to go out too. So that means it's time to go. And Eric Winberg, I just want to say thank you for all the donations to Mead Radio. You always send them after
Eric.
the fact, so I never get a chance to thank you for them. By the way, so thank you for that, and thank you all. Thank you, Sadie.
Oh my God, she's so noisy. Jesus
She's
Christ.
wanting to go out.
Oh my God, I thought
Now.
somebody was starting up a bike. My God, that was
No,
a
that
dog.
is her telling me it is time to quit. Yeah,
like, somebody's
see?
got to
Sadie
do potty
gets
back
it
there.
Right. What's the matter? We gotta go side. Yeah, is that what you need? Yeah,
Wow.
that's what she needs. Yeah, she's
Get
like, "Let's
some
go,
back
come
to
on."
back.
See, this is what she does.
He's like,
She
I'm
gets
gonna
over
take a
to me.
dump on your floor.
She's like, "Come on, come on."
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Oh, and then we got a Dearest who sends us a thumbs up. If you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, that's a reminder to do so. Hit that thumbs up for Sadie. We
There
appreciate
you
it.
go.
Make sure you're subscribed.
And that,
That
too.
too.
Yes. Thank you to all the mods and of course everybody on the
thank you,
panel.
G-Bud Martin and Deleted Scenes. I saw them modding.
Steven and D-Bud, thank you. I don't know if I saw anybody else either, but yes, thank you so much. And with that, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
They're not people, they're hippies.
Don't end.
Don't end. No more Tom knows. Did you ever see that one yet, Mikey?
No,
I
You
have
never
not-
saw that one?
no.
Dearest send us, is that a puppy?
It's a puppy.
It's a puppy. It's a little puppy. He's just sitting there. Thank you, Dearest. We appreciate the
Yellow
support.
puppy.
Little yellow puppy. Is it old Yeller? Oh, that's sad.
Oh, ooh, that takes me back to trauma.
Yeah, I know. Well, that was for Sadie, I think. So thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it. Not the cock. Oh, yes. Oh, my God.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
yes.
the cock.
Oh my
god, the cock. Oh my god, the cock. Oh my god.
Wow.
It just goes on
Okay.
forever.
Um,
On that note, head on over to Comics Division. I'm sure they'll be talking about the cock plenty.
Okay,
Fade
you can,
in.